Good morning, gearheads. Welcome to the Blind Mike Project. Go to blindmike.net for all of Mike's nudes and feet pics. On today's show, Opie says some more dumb thing. We check in on a Weiner on the Friedland show. That weirdo brother Humper from Tiger Belly, accidental murderer Alec Baldwin, and the subtitled comedy stylings of one G.D. Fenderson. What a gosh darn lineup. And now, here is your host, a man who waited until interest rates were around 7% to buy a home, because he doesn't care about your rules, man.
Blind Mike Geary!
Who the hell was that?
I have no idea.
What was that voice?
I don't know.
I don't mind it.
I was trying to figure it out.
I don't mind it, but I don't recognize the voice. And by the way, 6.5%. I'm living on easy street. Hello, folks. Are you wearing those stupid glasses?
I am.
Okay. I hate that you're now peacocking for attention.
Well, people said they hate them, so I obviously can't take them off.
You liked. What annoys me is like you loved the Kirk, even though Kirk said he hated it. You just love that you were mentioned, and that's what's gross about it.
No,
like,
no.
Ooh,
I'm usually
the glasses are working. People are noticing.
Usually when I mentioned it's terrible things, so that wasn't too bad on the scale of me.
You're a hideous monster. Yeah. Yeah, so Craig has these annoying glasses that he's just trying to make a statement with. I guess we all have to get through it together.
They're pretty sick.
But since you look at life through these rose-colored glasses, I wanted to get your take on this.
Mm-hmm.
There's a trend, I suppose, in the comments. People are asking about this a lot, and I don't. Maybe this is one of the luxuries of blindness that I can't imagine caring about this. But people get very angry and say, "Well, I hate the AI thumbnails." They get very mad about them.
I had one up for the first 20 seconds.
What is? Do they bother you? Why the anger? Why are people so mad about them? Literally, one guy, we got one comment that goes, "Mike, I need you to know that I will be unsubscribing, not for any fault of your own, but because the thumbnails are so terrible that I had to send a message."
Do we want people that soft around anyways?
I tendered his resignation and wished him well. I said, "It's been a pleasure, friend." Yeah, that's the thing is I can't imagine, like I said, maybe it's a luxury of blindness, but I can't imagine even with a perfect sight being like, "Did you see Theo Vaughn's thumbnail? It was awesome this week." Like, I can't imagine picking my podcasts based on the thumbnail.
I've never.
What's wrong with them? What's bad about them?
I guess talk in the chat now. I have not seen this yet.
People don't like that they always note that it's AI. They go, "I hate your AI thumbnails." It's like, what do you want? Hand drawn?
You want us to get pay for those stock photos?
Right. Well, what is? Can you describe them to me? What are people seeing? What are they?
It's just I'll put it up right now. It's just a drawing of what we're gonna talk about.
Drawing? How do you mean? Uh-oh. Now we're
like an AI Adam Friedland and Anthony Weiner.
Well, AI how?
It's just like almost like Celebrity Deathmatch.
Oh, okay. You know what? I'll make a compromise here. Casey's gonna get very upset with this. But I think this is a reasonable request. Just do pictures of the people. Just do actual pictures of the people.
I like this personally.
I don't care about it. I'd rather no one gives a shit about the thumbnails. That's all I need is pictures of the people, their names on it. Because here's my logic. What's someone that doesn't know this show that just sees Adam Friedland? Are they more likely to click on just a picture of Adam Friedland or a wacky cartoon of it? I would think the picture.
I'm curious. One in the chat if you're fine with the thumbnails. Two in the chat if it's ruining your day. I'm just curious.
Yeah, sure. Craig has decided this is a democracy.
Should be.
You, the fans, decide.
No, it doesn't matter. I'm just curious because I haven't seen any thumbnails.
I'll defend Casey in this. I can't imagine caring, and I suspect the people that comment that stuff are just guys that hate Casey and want to give him shit or something like that. You know,
it's overwhelming ones in the chat. Everyone likes them.
What was one again? I forget.
people like the ones that are.
Oh well,
there.
of course. What else are they going to say? You set it up like this.
No, I set it up like if you want to attack HACKRIDE, now's your chance. And they're like, hey, I actually like what he's doing.
Well, I think the majority of human beings are just good people. These are all good people. I'm talking about the 6 assholes that complain about stuff, which I genuinely don't care. If Casey wants to make a stand and stick his middle finger up to the man, he can keep doing the AI. But I would say if I had a vote in this, which I don't, as we know, I would just do regular photos. I'll be curious to hear. He'll send me some long explanation of why AI is better, and I'll be curious to read that because I would also say look at the thumbnails others show. Well, what works? Look at our past thumbnails. What works best? You know, give it a study, Casey Day, because people are angry about it.
And if you hate these thumbnails, you're soft.
We don't have a well. That's absolutely true. Is I can't imagine you're being someone that sends me a resignation is someone go kick rocks. We don't need.
I almost want Casey to just continue doing what he's doing to get rid of these rats. I don't.
Well, it's nice that you guys can treat this like a playground for your own perverse ideas, but I like to think of it as my channel.
Just be like, Karl was drawn. I'm not going to watch it.
I want. Craig goes, I want. Good. Terrific. Go do it on Very Good Show. Who gives a shit?
I didn't say, hey, this is what's happening. I was like, hey, if you want my opinion, you flush out these fucking rodents.
Yeah, I don't think we need the cartoons, but I'll be curious Casey Day's take. I'm sure it'll be very, very irrational and angry at me for some reason, but
you should be angry at people who are like, you know what? My day is ruined.
I can no longer subject myself.
Crazy.
Babies. You look at it for 2 seconds. Once you click on the video, it's gone. You don't see it anymore.
It's there for a second.
Or also don't click on it. I don't give a shit. Just leave me alone. All right. Go to blindmike.net if you want to, you know what? You send us your feedback on Patreon, on Twitter, Instagram. I posted on Instagram for the first time in 6 months yesterday. I asked Casey to make a clip, and I was like, "Oh, I never post here. No one's even going to see this. It doesn't matter." But all that stuff is there at blindmike.net, where all of our links are. Become a member, get early access and bonus content. The new episode, the free episodes of Why You Laughing, are taking a brief hiatus. But you still get bonus episodes for Patreon and YouTube members. Craig and I just recorded an episode about George Wendt's awkward interview with Opie and Anthony. And it really was uncomfortable on all accounts. On all of that, they were all terrible during this interview. So go check that out, our analysis of that. And blindmike.net is where you get all those links. Thank you, guys. Go to verygoodshow.org. Does that still exist?
Yeah, it's going to be kicking back up again this week. I ran out of
back up.
Well, we logged.
We're always entering or coming down from a comeback for Very Good Show.
Well, I moved, and as the people watching can see, I've joined the wood panel crew.
Terrific! Congratulations.
Yeah, you try to cover it up, but we still see it.
I never understood what was the big deal. Like John was always, it's gay of Karl to have wood paneling. Is it trashy? Is it like this is just? I live in an apartment building. This is what was there.
Yeah, it was gay. I don't know why, but it's gay.
But is it like trashy to have wood paneling in your house? I imagine so. Is that what John was getting at?
I'm in the basement.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like my living room wall, and even still, if you like it, good for you. Like, I don't get why it's gay. It just makes hanging stuff harder, I guess.
I don't know how to describe the room I'm in. It's the strangest. It was perfect for literally only this. I can't imagine what else you could have done with it. It's like a 6x12 room. I don't know what any other resident could have done with this space. But
is there a closet in there?
There is.
So it's technically a bedroom.
Or an office, I guess. Yeah, I guess it could be a bedroom, but you wouldn't have a lot of space for it. All right.
In there.
Enough of that nonsense. If you want people to tell you about blindmike.net, watch the Alex Stein show, where Karl goes on there. It was. I asked Karl on who are these socials. I was like, were you annoyed? Because I assumed Karl went on there to promote who are these podcasts and who are these socials and all the stuff he's doing. But I was like, were you annoyed at all at the subject matter? Because I can't imagine anyone that regularly watches Alex Stein's show got through Alex Stein interviewing Joey C about the Dabbleverse.
No shit.
That's what was on Alex Stein's show. He's like a political guy, isn't he, Alex Stein?
Yeah, he does like not serious.
An eclectic mix of topics, it seems.
Yeah, he's mostly like trying to just get laughs, but it's politics based.
So I don't know a ton about Alex Stein. I know he's involved in the two things I know. He's involved in both my worlds, I guess. He comments on the Dabbleverse and harasses Barstool Sports employees.
You guys were meant for each other.
That's really all I know about him. So my name came up while Karl was on that show, and I just wanted to point out how ill-advised Alex is on my good standing there at Barstool Sports.
Let's draw our line in the sand. And remind me, I want to get to boxing. Let me just get to Blind Mike before we get into that.
Yeah.
I love your co-host, Blind Mike. He's on with Kirk Minahan. He's a Minahan co-host. I know Blind Mike's reacted to my content, this and that. I recently tried to make what did I try to ask for? A pardon from Dave Portnoy. I wish Blind Mike would put in a good word for me. I mean, I bet he would get more. Oh, he does? Good. I didn't even know that.
It's like saying I'm trying to get my flight upgrade. I'm Muhammad Atta's nephew, and still I'm getting nowhere with these people.
The name Muhammad Atta, it's affiliated with terrible things, but when always said in a joke makes me laugh.
But by the way, like Alex is like, why won't he put a good word in for me? I don't know anything about him. What am I going to say? So the only thing I really know of Alex Stein with Barstool Sports is he showed up with a shirtless guy that he was calling his boyfriend or something.
His wife's boyfriend.
His wife's boy. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Yes, his wife's boyfriend. And he was screaming, trying to get into the Barstool office. What am I going to do? He seems like a good guy. He seems like a straight shooter.
He had I think he just wanted you to like get him in the room with Portnoy, which is funny.
Right. Yeah, Dave, I can vouch for the guy. Don't worry. He's got the Geary approval. But I guess what I'm saying is, first of all, it's crazy to be like, maybe but he just doesn't know that Dave hates me. But why would I vouch for Alex Stein? I don't know him. I've never talked to him.
He's a funny guy.
I'm sure he's hilarious, but it's just funny to be like, why hasn't this stranger spoken up for me?
He tried to storm the Barstool office with a homeless guy whose pants were falling down.
And then didn't he like accost Rico out of nowhere or something?
That sounds familiar, but I don't know.
Here's how I'll defend Alex Stein. He seems like there's a lot of background you have to know to understand him. You know what I mean? I don't think he is how he see. I don't think you can watch one clip and be like, "Oh, I get who this guy is." I think it's a complicated history of Alex Stein.
That might be true.
So I guess that'll be my big defense of him when I sit down with Portnoy.
No, he hates Blind Mike.
And I love Blind Mike. See, and I'm not just saying. I wouldn't be.
What's your issue with Portnoy?
I went stormed his office. He invited me to his
I did see that.
podcast.
I just harassed his employees. It was no big deal.
I mean, it was during the Yak, I want to say. Like he was like, because the old studio.
If I remember right, Mincy let him in.
Yes.
So I used the most gullible retard at the company to sneak into your headquarters. Why is he so annoyed at me?
Forgive me.
It is a lot. And so I brought my wife's boyfriend to his studios,
That's
and there was a homeless guy, and his butt was all.
I
over
remember
the
that.
glass.
That was great.
And
You see what I mean? You can't hear that sentence and be like, "Oh, I
time.
understand." It's a complicated history.
I get it. I completely understand. That's very funny.
Bill things, right? And we have a mutual friend that works there that's not a personality, that's like part of their investment side. A guy that helps them do merch, like a real important business person that even tried to mend the fences. And Dave said he had no interest.
I'm a little surprised by that, actually.
But why does Blind Mike and him have heat?
Oh, because the Blind Mike used to work for Barstool.
Yeah, I know that.
And Blind Mike, I think, was a different guy back then.
Okay.
And just rubbed.
Can I say, not really?
Carl's like, I'm going to bring out Ozzy Minifan to explain it.
I think Karl perfectly summarized it for someone that doesn't really know. But like, I've grown and changed a lot. I accept some blame as to why Portnoy doesn't like me. I don't think I did anything awful, though. I will stand by that.
It comes down to one thing and one thing only. It was the Penn acquisition weekend, and he thought you were going to tank the deal.
I still might.
Yeah.
Hey, I haven't put down my weapons yet.
that was legitimately the thing that set it off.
I like that, like 2 years later, after he gets the company back, I'm still plotting. I'm like, no. This war isn't over yet.
Yeah, Dave gambles and states he's not legally allowed to. Like that's the angle you can take.
Well, I'll tell you what, I realized it this week. Like, I think I was no one there, and honestly didn't put in enough effort or anything. And Portnoy saw that. I was like a guy who was coasting on being blind as an intern. So when I was on Kirk's show and started commenting on people, it wasn't even what I was saying. It was like, who the fuck is this guy? Right. So even like when I tweeted about RA the other day, which is, by the way, a horrible thing that they're doing to Mick. They're just based on nothing. They're labeling him an anti-Semite. Mm-hmm. And I now, like, because I commented on it on Twitter, I get people who don't know anything about Mick that are like, this guy's a fucking Nazi. Like, that'll just be something that is with him now. Because guys with big platforms are like, oh, you're an anti-Semite, purely based on nothing, based on literally nothing. So I would comment on shit like that, and Portnoy wouldn't even hear the words I would say. He would just be like, who is this fucking nobody that did nothing while he was an intern other than what we told him to do? Who is he to comment on us? So that's why Portnoy hates me, right or wrong. I get it more now than I did. I used to be like, but I'll convince him. If I say the right words in the right order, he'll understand. And now I'm like, oh, I'm just that guy in his mind. No matter what I do, he's going to not care for it.
Dave, what about this?
Now, Dave, hear me out here.
Way.
See, I thought he still worked for him. So he used to work for him.
He works for Kirk Minahan.
Oh, he works for Kirk, but he's not Barstool. I get
He's not Barstool.
Okay, I get it.
I get it. It's very confusing.
Real quick, though, Bryan Mike, who I think is one of the best broadcasters.
Great. He's very funny.
He's my co-host.
Look at this.
Which is another show that I do Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern on our YouTube channel.
What
Subscribe or listen to podcasts.
Can I tell you something?
That's very professional.
I think that is how bad the Aussie guy was on Karl's show.
Yeah.
That's how horrendous he was on that. That Karl was like, I'm not even going to make a sarcastic. He's a terrific broadcaster. He's a great guy. That's very nice, Karl. Thank you.
That was it.
Yeah. So shout out to Alex Stein. But yeah, I'm not getting you in the door there. Sorry. You talk to Julia Black before you talk to me.
Matter of fact, if I reach out, it'll make your situation worse.
Yes.
That's essentially what it would be.
Yeah. Another real quick one. Can we talk about Nathan Fielder very quickly?
Absolutely.
A guy who I love. Did you enjoy this clip?
Yes, I did.
Nathan Fielder just trolling CNN was very funny because there's been a lot to talk about. We played the Tim Dillon interview last week, and if you can get past the steamy nature of El Reeve, which, by the way, people were like, one guy goes, Mike bringing up 10-year-old topics. El Reeve has been horny for years. I'm like, well, I don't know her. It's the first time I've ever given a shit about her, but apparently she's done this to a lot of right-wingers. She seduces them with her whisper.
I don't think it works, though.
Lulls them into her spell. But yeah, we were talking about CNN last week because there's a lot of talk now, like our podcasters, the new establishment. That was the big thing with El Reeve and Tim Dillon. And Nathan Fielder addresses this at the end of his CNN interview.
Thank you. I do want to say thank you. And I want to say, too, like, this is just something that I think is important to say because, you know, I think these days, like, a lot of people will go to like, alternative news sources or like comedy podcasters to get the word out about stuff, like Joe Rogan or Theo Vaughn. But for me, it's still CNN all the way. So thank you for
us.
That's my favorite. Is that Wolf Blitzer who goes, yeah, for us too?
It will always be CNN.
They take it so seriously. Wow. Thank you, Nathan. For us too. For us as well. That's really powerful what you just said.
You know, it's the perfect thing to say there because he's mocking them so hard to their face and they have no idea.
They're loving it.
Yeah. Like, thanks,
Joe Rogan and Theo Vaughn.
You know what's funny? All the left-wing politicians are going to be working with Nathan Fielder now because they think he's one of them.
Good.
I need it.
Yeah, well, Nathan, I heard Justin say this the other day on KMS. Like, is Nathan Fielder? Is he the guy that everyone says is underrated, which makes him not underrated? But I don't think so because I still don't think enough people have seen Nathan For You. I think it might be the best comedy television show that's come out in the last like 15, 20 years.
Yeah, and then was it Nathan For You where he did the he's going to expose himself to children?
Yes.
That was just the funniest thing
the greatest intro to a television show
ever.
Because he delivers it like he's explaining the rules of like Deal or No Deal. Or something.
Yeah. It's set up like the next Survivor challenge.
Yeah. I love Nathan Fielder. I have not watched season 2, but it's getting a lot of people talking. And I guess it's not even really a comedy. Like the first season of The Rehearsal, like there's funny stuff because he's a funny, weird guy, but it's not really a comedy. It's like actually him learning about a lot of this with funny elements to it.
Yeah, I mean, and is it Nathan For You? He's like, yeah, if we get all these people to hike up this mountain, they'll get like 10 cents off their gas.
Yeah,
something stupid like that.
He's a genius. He really is a true genius. That word is overused at times, but I think it applies to him.
Absolutely.
All right, enough of this nonsense. Should we get into some real business here? Some real typical BMP business.
Absolutely.
Because there's a fib, I think, being told. Would you say that's fair from Bryan Callen?
Yes.
I don't know if this story's passing muster here. It feels. I saw our boy Unique. That's where I saw this clip. Our pal Kyle saying, "This sounds exactly like something Brendan Schaub would say," and he was exactly right. It really does. Bryan Callen was on with Eric Weinstein, which that's exactly what we need. Is more comedians pretending that they are scientists.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad Bryan Callen is and people blame Joe Rogan for this, but Joe Rogan did something that is very common throughout. We talk about this a lot on Why You Laughing. Joe Rogan created something very unique and interesting. Like Joe Rogan started having conversations with people from all walks of life, stuff that wasn't really popular before in mass media, and Joe Rogan would give them an outlet. He would talk to some scientist or dietitian or outdoorsman or jiu-jitsu expert. He would talk to all these weird people that otherwise wouldn't have had a platform and in long form, something that just wasn't done. And now every meathead has copied him and thought, hey, I'm deep too, man. I could have insightful, introspective conversations with really interesting thinkers. So Bryan Callen has Eric Weinstein on, and I was going to say blow smoke up Eric Weinstein's ass. He's blowing smoke up his own ass here and telling us how amazing he is. And he does it in this weird way where he starts it by saying, like, man, I'm really down in the dumps. Things aren't going well for me. And then he tells you the most unbelievable story about a fan interaction. Let's see if you guys agree with me.
And what I loved about it is I'm editing my special now. And I mean, I just hate myself in general. I walk around feeling.
Oh man, it must be tough. Life is just so glum.
He probably hates himself because he has to sit next to Schaub to make money.
Oh, everywhere I go is just such a dark cloud. Let me give you an example of that.
I was in Austin and I was walking around hating myself and feeling kind of shitty about myself. And I'm with my wife and we're walking by this guy. I'm admiring his guitar. Right. They're playing right there. And I'm walking on 6th Street. And in the middle of his playing, he gets off stage, walks up to me.
Hold on.
I don't care what comes out of his mouth next. This is a lie.
Well, now, Craig, you're familiar with Streets, yes?
Yes.
You've seen Streets before.
I have.
I've actually been to 6th Street in Austin.
Oh, wow.
Let me try and wrap my head around this here. He and his wife are walking down the street. A scenario we're all familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy playing guitar. He gets off stage. Where is he? Bryan, you're on the street. He's in a building? Or maybe there's some outdoor stage right on the sidewalk where the homeless people are terrorizing you?
On a stoop, perhaps?
Where's this stage? Well, maybe he explains it. Go back a little bit. I want to give him the proper context here.
They're playing right there, and I'm walking on 6th Street. And in the middle of his playing, he gets off stage, walks up to me, stops playing. It's a packed house. And he just goes, "You are my favorite comic."
Whoa. Packed house. What, the sidewalk?
I need to stop what I'm doing. Bryan Callen's here.
We've transported. Well, yeah, that part is ridiculous, of course. The idea that a man is on stage strumming his guitar to a massive audience, apparently, and he goes, "As I live and breathe."
He's in Top Gun now.
Is that the waiter from Old School? Sweet sassy Molassy. No one loves the Goldbergs more than me. And the show really changed when they got rid of Bryan Callen. I gotta say something to this guy. I don't care if I'm mid solo.
Playing. It's a packed house. And he just goes, "You are my favorite comic. You make me laugh." So, and I was admiring him and feeling bad about myself, walking with my head down with the posture of a jumbo shrimp. And this guy comes up and
he's like Bryan Callen was walking around like the Michael Cera gif from Arrested Development.
Yes.
Just arms swinging.
Yeah.
Oh, the Charlie Brown music playing. And then luckily this hero, it just cheered him up. What luck. What luck that the world's biggest Bryan Callen fan was playing guitar in front of a packed house on 6th Street. Again, I've been to 6th Street.
Mm-hmm.
There are many clubs and bars and places that could have live music, but Bryan Callen is not in one of those establishments. He's on the street.
DJ ELECTRA with a great point.
Okay.
That guy must have had eyes of an eagle to see him in the crowd while playing the guitar solo.
Well, yeah, right. And it's not, hey, that looks like Bryan Callen. That is Bryan Callen. I'm certain of it. Now could you go back to the beginning of this story, please? Because I know we keep pausing it. I want to give it the proper context. Maybe there's some nuggets in here that tie this all together and make it make sense. I want to let it breathe.
Right there, and I'm walking on 6th Street. And in the middle of his playing, he gets off stage, walks up to me, stops playing. It's a packed house. And he just goes, "You are my favorite comic. You make me laugh." So, and I was admiring him and feeling bad about myself, walking with my head down with the posture of a jumbo shrimp. And this guy comes over and shakes my hand. He's all full of sweat, gives me a kind of a bro hug. And I just went, man, I'll never complain about a damn thing in life, because here I am just hating everything I do. And this guy got off stage to say in the middle of his playing. So at least I'm moving some.
And that man was Eric Clapton.
I like the idea though, of him giving him a bro hug while the whole crowd's booing.
Yeah, right. What is the crowd doing? They're like, "All right, we'll wait patiently."
No, the whispers. That's Bryan Callen.
Well, they don't see Bryan Callen. The whispers are just, "Oh, the guy got off in a hurry. Bryan Callen must be here somewhere."
This could only happen if it's Bryan Callen.
Oh! I know what happened. In the back of the room, out the window, he saw the world's greatest comedian walking down 6th Street, and he had to stop the show.
Oh my God,
that's probably what happened here.
That's Crystalia's buddy.
He pushes Louis C.K. and Dave Chappelle out of the way. He's like, "Get out of my way, freaks! Bryan Callen's here."
Yeah.
Was that the end of that?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that is, as my guy Kyle speculated. He said, "Do you see Brendan Schaub is running off on him?" And I like Kyle. I just feel it impossible to talk about him without acknowledging that he speaks like Daffy Duck. But
You usually nail your impressions, but like this impression is like a caricature of him, and I love
well,
it.
sure. Well, sure. Yeah, but as my guy Kyle pointed out, like that's a Schaub story. We're at this point, 10 years into Brendan Schaub mania, we would almost just let that go. Where we're like, oh yeah, I'm sure you did, Brendan.
Yep.
Wouldn't even really be a blip on the radar. But Bryan Callen being like, this man, tears in his eyes. that phrase should not be allowed to be said. Tears in his eyes. Like that's a woke dad phrase where he's like, I saw this guy, tears in his eyes. He said to me, "You've changed my life. You've inspired me."
He was sweaty, not from playing, but from being nervous by being around me.
He was wet with tear. Soaked in his own tears. Well, who is this musician, this no-name musician that is selling out theaters on 6th Street?
I'm sure the homeless cats are already on this.
I would hope so. Boys, get to work. Who could this be?
Who was playing on 6th Street within the last 2 months? Let's figure it out.
Sold out.
That's sold out.
Packed house.
Packed house.
And I imagine just go to this artist's Reddit page, because I imagine people would be like, craziest thing. I see this guitar player, not a band, not a singer, just a guy playing guitar, apparently. I went to see this guitar player and, 45,000 seater, and he just stopped mid-show to go say hello to some comedian. I think that would be all over Reddit.
That'd be everywhere. Oh, it must have been Joe Rogan. Nope.
Why tell that story? Eric Weinstein just the crazy thing is Eric Weinstein, who's supposedly an intellectual, just goes, you know what? Same thing happened to me, and he has a story like that. He's like, yep, same. I got one. He one-ups Bryan Callen.
To me, it just sounds like a homeless man trying to get money. Saw him walk by and went like, "Hey, I know you."
Yeah, if he said when I first heard the story, I thought he was saying like a homeless guy trying to, with his guitar case out to raise money.
Right.
And he just said, "Hey, Bryan Callen." I thought that's what the story was at first, until you realize he said packed house, off stage. None of it makes sense.
Maybe it was like 2 people deep rows, and he was playing on a stoop.
And that is like there's a lot of comics now that are talking about reaction channels like this, like Podcast Cringe and Too Lazy to Try, and they basically accuse them of nitpicking. Like they get too in the weeds on stuff. And I will grant you that. We'll talk about that a little later with another story. I will grant you sometimes they don't take into account the relationships some of these comics have and stuff like that. This isn't that. This isn't us twisting words. Make him explain this story. This is the craziest thing I've ever heard.
I need to know what he's talking about.
We need a follow-up.
What was the guy's name? He must have been pretty famous if he's
it's a name we would all know for sure.
Packed house.
Based on this description.
Yeah.
If it was 6th Street, it was probably Kid Rock or something.
That would be so funny. I was keeping his identity secret, but it was Kid Rock.
Hey, brother. All right.
Dead with a Bud Light near that guy.
Speaking of Bryan Callen, let's talk about people Bryan Callen is violently threatened, shall we?
Absolutely.
Let's talk about Tiger Belly and what's going on with them. Craig was on this beat years ago, where he talked about how terrible Khalyla was during the whole Brendan Schaub interaction that they had. Now, the problem with that, the reason Khalyla didn't take probably enough shit for that whole exchange with Brendan Schaub is Brendan Schaub was clearly lying about what happened. He's like, he goes, my people gave me documents that show you're the homeless cats.
Also,
no one gave you that, Brendan.
This was during your big I'm going to support Brendan Schaub phase that Royce Lopez
was trying my best.
It was also right in the middle of that, so I can't really blame you.
Yeah. But Khalyla definitely had fault in all of that, and that led to the not demise of Tiger Belly, because they're still doing quite well, but like the breakup of Tiger Belly and her relationship with Bobby Lee. I think her relationship had already ended with Bobby Lee at that point, but they weren't saying it publicly. And now Tiger Belly fans have gotten to the point where they're just straight up turning on Khalyla because she's not really on the show anymore. She pops in like every 6 months. And there are a lot of comments, but we'll start with, you have that Instagram post I sent you, right?
Yeah, with O'Malley.
Her and Esther, yeah. Is that Grace O'Malley that's on there?
Yeah, I thought so.
Oh, I didn't realize that. But yeah, this was from Trash Tuesday. And this is just like, this is what I'm talking about, where I will grant you, maybe we just don't know their relationship. But this seems like once you've broken up with someone, like maybe don't tell stories like this about them publicly. Doesn't seem like anything I would want out there. But maybe Bobby Lee's
shit person who stinks. I hate her guts.
Craig's taking a different approach. I'm trying to be a little more open-minded, but yeah, that's another way to look at it.
You ever wipe Bobby's? Be honest.
I've cleaned his shit, yeah.
What does that mean?
Because he would like shit on a paper plate in the back of the car in the middle of the 101 freeway. So I'd
I
be
don't
like, "Let me
understand
dispose
some of the
this."
things I hear.
And then he would his pants. I'd be like, "That's okay, babe. Let me just. It's okay. There's no shame. Let's wash it."
Why did he have to shit on a plate in the car? He couldn't hold. He can't hold it.
You know, he has
He
bubble
can't.
guts, Korean bubble guts.
Oh.
Yeah, but that's okay. He still shits himself, and I would help him through it still.
It does seem like even easy, ladies. Relax, ladies.
No, that was Grace O'Malley having his back.
Oh, what did she say in here?
He goes, he's cool with you saying that?
Right. Excellent point, Grace. Like, that would be my first thought. And even if he is, like, shouldn't he be the one to tell the story?
That sounds like a him story.
What I will say, though, like when I watch channels like Podcast Cringe, Podcast Cringe always does a great job. He updates me on a lot of things. I hear a lot of news from Podcast Cringe. But what channels like that do is they don't take into account that these are people with relationships that we have no idea about. You know what I mean? Like, she may very well know that maybe Bobby Lee's told that on other podcasts. Or maybe he's told her, totally fine if you tell it. Like, we don't know the behind the scenes of their relationship, but it does seem weird that she's so comfortable just completely openly shitting on this man to this day when he's done a tremendous service to her by keeping her name on that podcast. Like, that is Bobby Lee's podcast. If you look at the views, I think the last episode of Tiger Belly I watched is when Tim Dillon was on.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't skip a beat. They did fine. They didn't. I wasn't like, where's Khalyla on this thing? Like, it was okay. He was able to steer the ship without her. So to not be like grateful to that guy and maybe pump him up instead of being like, oh yeah, he's a trash goblin that shits himself in cars.
She seems like the type of person that sees that the hate is coming her direction, and she just wants it to be evenly spread out because she's awful.
So again, when Podcast Cringe was breaking this down, he pointed out that while the stuff was going on with Schaub, and there was all this ugliness, like Bobby was being threatened by Brendan and Bryan and all this shit going on, what she was concerned with during that exchange was that Brendan told Joe Rogan bad things about her.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So she does seem like an insufferable woman. So she was back on the podcast for the first time, I think this year, or maybe she was on in January was the last time.
Yeah.
So she makes a rare appearance. And before Ari Maddie joins the show, this was the thing that people picked up on. These are literally the first words of this past week's Tiger Belly. The first thing she says to Bobby on air.
I just saw our family doctor, Kawashiri.
Yeah.
And he was like, how's Bobby doing? I was like, he's a skinny mini. And he unfortunately agrees with Alex. You cannot be on the Ozemps without eating protein and
that's
working
so
out.
unfortunate.
He was like, I'm going to tell him.
Sorry, Dr. Alex. I mean,
Because you're just wasting away into like Kate Moss.
away.
So the point that a lot of the commenters made is like, for example, imagine, Craig, you weren't on this podcast for 6 months, and then you came back and were like, you look sickly. And I was like, oh, geez. Well, good to see you.
Actually, I should take 2 weeks off. That'll be the next thing I say.
Oh, God, what's happened to you? You're rotting away. like I said, they do have a relationship that we're not aware of, though. So I get a little uncomfortable with criticizing that too hard. Tiger Belly fans, however, did not. So this is Podcast podcast cringe reading some of the comments that were happening, and it starts with fans acknowledging that comments were getting deleted in droves, and then I think the producers just said,
Also,
we
though,
don't have the manpower to delete all these.
before this, the thing she says right after that was then just trashing the way he kisses. So it was like,
yes, yeah. There were more examples. Go watch the podcast cringe video. He uses a bunch of examples. I don't always agree with the depths that he goes to trashing a lot of people, but he does make some good points for sure.
there's no depth. I'm not following this man on this topic.
Well, yeah, you were also biased. You hate Khalyla.
Yes. I hate her so much.
Yeah.
But here's the comments.
Cal, with all these comments disappearing and the amount of similar comments, the team will be busy hitting delete for the next few days. Literally destroying this show and losing listeners in droves just to simp is wild. Bobby, buy her out. If you need a GoFundMe for the buyout, trust me, we would support it. If the team or anyone actually cares about Bobby's mental health, they would give him some advice on not having her on anymore. Clearly, they are there just for his money. Kind of tired of them forcing their dysfunctional dynamic on the fans. It's time to move on, guys. It adds literally nothing to the show but awkwardness. If she comes back permanently, I can guarantee you myself and many others won't be back. Reading the comments, I know I'm not the only one who feels this way.
And then we cut it off, actually. The next one was the thumbnails on this video made me unsubscribe from this channel.
I don't like the way Bobby was drawn.
It felt out of place, but I was like, all right, I guess it happens to other people too. But like there is something to that where, again, like I said, we don't know the ins and outs of their relationship, but as an outside observer, it seems very weird that he's broken up with this person and still is forced to be her business partner, but she's never on the show. So what is her role in the business? Like, even when they say on air, like their roles in the show, Khalyla does nothing for this show. It's basically always been Bobby and the producers running things. So like, why is Khalyla still involved in this show? It seems like it makes everyone uncomfortable, aside from Bobby just, I guess, not wanting to let go of that relationship, which again, that's something I guess we just don't understand what she means to him and the role that she plays in his life. It has to be deeper than we realize. But on the surface, to outsiders, it does seem very weird that she's still involved there when it seems like no one wants her to be there.
It doesn't seem like he wants her to be there, but he's like afraid to tell her to leave.
But the weirdest part about it is she's left. Like she's on once every 6 months or something.
And we should probably check Bobby's demeanor while she's gone. It's probably through the roof.
Well, why even do that? Why, like, just quit the show? Do what, like, if she's still making money off of that show, that's criminal.
Yes.
You know what I mean? If she's an equal partner to Bobby and shows up once every 6 months, that's crazy that her name would still be on that show. I think it would be like doing the noble thing to be like, hey, Bobby, you get all the income from this. You've given me a career in podcasting. Now she has like Trash Tuesday and whatever the fuck else she does. Like, you've done enough for me, Bob. Thanks. Let's shake hands and walk away. We can still be in each other's lives. No one wants me on this show that watches it. So why am I still splitting revenue with you?
Exactly.
But again, maybe there's stuff we don't know about the business end, like, but on the surface, it just seems very weird. I'm an open-minded guy, so I'd like to hear why she's on that show that isn't a completely selfish reason. You know, so if anyone has it, let me know.
I don't think you're gonna get that one.
Doesn't seem like it. No. But for a while, I think even like Tiger Belly fans were defending her and saying kind of the stuff I'm saying, where they're like, "Hey, you don't know they're," and now they're like, "Oh, why is she back on?"
You know what it is?
We were rolling with Bob. We don't need her.
Everyone likes Bobby Lee, so of course they were like, going to defend him from the jump. But he needs people to be like, "This woman is poison. Run."
Yeah, that's the type of to use the word simping. That's a case unlike any other. I mean, again, they had a 10-year relationship, so maybe it's just about what he means and what she means in his life. But that is crazy that you can't just be like, "Hey, we're done," right? You know, you have another boyfriend and a a child allegedly, and it seems like you were cheating on me a lot. So let's part ways here. What do you say?
Constantly. Constantly cheating.
Yeah. So that's the Tiger Belly update. I guess I like to talk about Khalyla more, but there's just not a lot there. Not a lot going on with old Khalyla. But
No, there's not.
What's next, Craig?
Baldwin or Friedland?
Oh, let's do Adam Friedland first. And then I have to tell you about GD Fenderson, Coffee with the Dog. I was on. So that's very exciting. But let's talk about Adam Friedland. This is so interesting to me because this could be the greatest underdog story in comedy history. I think what has happened here is Nick Mullen branded post Cumtown as the Adam Friedland Show and moved Adam to the center of the show and made him the host as a joke. And what's unfolding before our eyes is he could be a great interviewer.
Right.
He might legitimately have a great interview show. Like, and I read some of the comments. People were like, this would be the greatest joke of all if Adam is the most successful of the three of them.
That would be unbelievable.
And I like it because we talked about this in the History of Cumtown episode, but Adam got an unfair amount of shit from the fans on that show. Like, I literally hear him referred to as like the retard from Cumtown. You know, he's not Bobo from Opie and Anthony. He's not like a whack packer. He's a legit. He's a funny guy that was the punching bag of his group of friends. Nick Mullen actually went on a rant about this that I always respected him for. Was basically saying it reminded me of when Doug Stanhope defended Dane Cook, and was like, "Well, I'd rather hang out with him than any of you." Where Nick went on a rant and was like, you guys understand, like, he's our good friend, right? Like, we actually like Adam and find him funny, and you guys just, harass him about his mother dying. So I always like that Nick did that. And Adam Friedland has gone on to a new version of the Adam Friedland Show. Nick Mullen is no longer assisting him. But what Nick has done is left him with the tools to be a broadcaster. I guess this podcast was picked up by All Things Comedy now.
No shit.
Yeah. So I assume that crew over there is helping him in some way. I don't know who is taking.
We'll have Luigi Mangione on soon, probably.
Maybe so. I mean, it does seem like the way they're going. But but Nick Mullen, I don't know who's replacing Nick Mullen as far as like, I assume Nick Mullen wrote a lot for that show. So I don't know who's going to take on that role, but Adam Friedland had Anthony Weiner on, and like he might actually be good at this. I think he actually has the potential to have a great show on his hands.
The objective with our show is this, right? There's the internet makes
someone should have told me this sentence before, but go ahead.
I actually did. No. I'll tell you this right now. I talked to him on the phone. He's like, and he's like, and you make money from this? And I was like, well, we were on a podcast for morons for 6 years, and then the fat one left to do crowd work, and so then we changed it because I was kind of the schmuck, I was the nebbish, and we rebranded it to make me into an intellectual talk show host, and then. This was amazing what you did. You let like a little pregnant pause after my whole soliloquy goes, and you go, well, you took me on quite the journey there, but you did not in any way, shape, or form answer my question.
No, I didn't do.
He has a great setup. They have kind of the Norm Macdonald live setup where there's not a live audience, but the crew is there laughing.
Yeah, there's enough of them.
And he has a great mentality. This, like, Nick Mullen beat him into this role where he's very good at being letting the guest shine, and he kind of makes himself the idiot. He did it. I think my favorite interview that he's done was with Chris Cuomo, because Chris Cuomo's seemingly an unlikable guy by all accounts, right?
Yeah.
I rarely see him be likable. Like Dave Smith destroyed him in that debate, but on the Adam Friedland show,
trying to be likable now is what he's attempting to do,
which is even more unlikable.
Yeah, and no one's letting his past be forgotten.
But Adam Friedland did it like on the Adam Friedland show. He let that guy be funny and likable. And I think that's what he's able to do. And what Nick Mullen is like bullied into him is having that ability where he actually is like a charming good interviewer on this. I think I can't believe what I'm watching, where Nick is standing behind him and he's like, "I haven't been holding the bike in some time, Adam. You're you're riding all by yourself."
Next we have This Might Work.
Yeah, like this is again like Adam is funny and charming on this, and Anthony Weiner's another guy. Is he a likable guy? I don't know a lot about Anthony Weiner.
Isn't he a pedophile? Didn't he get caught with kitty porn?
See, I was wondering. I was like, is Anthony Weiner like a legitimately horrible guy, or did he just do stuff that he couldn't be in politics for anymore? I don't remember the story.
Let me look that up before I start saying that.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't throw that out there, but especially a man in your situation.
Sexting scandal.
That's what I mean. I thought it was. But were they of age?
Let's see.
Well, while you do that,
yeah, I'll play the next.
Yeah, play the next clip while you figure that out.
Nancy Pelosi, knowing Nancy Pelosi was going to be someone early on, like I supported Nancy for whip and majority leader and whatever else.
You know,
like that kind of stuff.
she's like a real wolf of Wall Street. She really knows how to pick them.
She's very good. She's
incredible at it.
She was very good at her
investing.
job. She was very good.
No,
I want to pause this real quick and just let everyone know he was sexting a minor and sending them nudes.
Oh, all right. Well, maybe Adam should have had him on then, if that's the case. But
so
you see my point ultimately.
Let's all watch this through our rose-colored glasses.
Yes.
She's like a real wolf of Wall Street. She really knows how to pick them.
She's very good. She's
incredible at it.
She was very good at her job. She was very good.
No, I'm just that. She's unreal.
Yeah, but people have
How
money.
the hell does she know what stocks to get behind?
A lot of people are rich. Yeah. Are you not familiar with that?
I'm making a joke about how
and I'm not playing along.
Why you think members of Congress should own stocks?
Why shouldn't members of Congress own stock? It's the most transparent fucking body on earth.
I think that
every fucking word is published somewhere. Every word that's said.
That if you have an investment in something,
go ahead,
and there's a piece of legislation that would threaten that investment, do you think that is a conflict of interest?
No.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Because every fucking piece of legislation is incredibly public, and anyone who's investing based on pieces of legislation is not going to do very well.
Let's say you already have an investment, and this would threaten that investment. Is it morally correct?
There are pieces of legislation that threaten and enhance every investment on earth. Go ahead, give me an investment. I'll tell you, there's legislation on both sides.
I don't think for the relaunch. I don't think that's a good one.
Okay, let me tell you this.
Like he's very funny at calling people out, but doing it in a way that doesn't turn them off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I think the show actually has potential. Like he could be a genuinely good interviewer. It reminded me of, like, I don't think Norm's my favorite ever, so I'm not comparing him to Norm, but it reminded me of the vibe of Norm Macdonald's live show, which was my favorite talk show ever.
Yes, it was just delightful. I wish he was alive, Mike. I really do.
Well, as do I. Why are you saying it like that?
Because it was terrible. This is still. I was being terrible.
Oh, okay.
Not you. You look terrible, Mike. You're wasting away over there.
All
right. Still the punching bag.
Yeah, so like he allows his guest to be the funny one. Even like Anthony Weiner, as I watch this, like seems like kind of a douchebag. But Adam Friedland allowed him to like take charge of the interview and be the punching bag. His training over the years has really come in handy.
That's all he knows.
Yeah,
I think if a congressman's underpants with a little bit of a was tweeted out in 2025. What I would say is it wouldn't make the top 100 news stories of this year.
That's
right. So it represents an intersection between like an old kind of New York tabloid press, which is like that was kind of an old world thing.
Correct.
And then the new world introduction of technology into.
That's one version. The other version is it was a relatively slow news period, and I'm a guy named Weiner who tweeted out a picture of his dick. So
you
there's
were the
that.
first guy too.
No, I'm saying that I'm not dismissing that idea. I'm saying that there was an element of it.
But Matt Gaze fucked the kid.
Right, and if his name was Matt Kidfucker,
No.
then the story would.
No, that's not true. Think about it this way. Trump almost got shot on TV. 2 days later, we didn't even remember.
Yeah. I'm not sure I see the transition in those.
If it was today, it wouldn't. Like it would be a 48-hour news cycle, and it would be forgotten.
Yes, but yes, the technology. If similar technological norms were around, Kennedy would have been the same. Yes, but therefore what? Yes.
It's not therefore what. It's an interesting moment in like our culture, right?
Yeah.
Because
not a terribly original thought, but yes, that's yes.
See, there's something about Adam that allows the guest to talk to him in a way that they wouldn't. Like if fucking Anthony Weiner was on Fox News, or he wouldn't be talking to the host like that. You know what I mean?
Not for very long, at least.
There's something that allows the guest to feel comfortable, like shitting on him or being ball busty in a way that they wouldn't otherwise. I'm every time I watch one of Adam's interviews, I'm impressed by it. Now that he doesn't have Nick with him, I'm like, wow, maybe he has something here. I'm rooting for him.
I hope. So what's the break? Is he still using the Patreon, or is this all free now or out?
I don't know. If it's on All Things Comedy, I assume there's no longer a Patreon. I was in the impression, the way they were talking, that the Come Town Adam Friedland Show Patreon was up as like a museum, a memorial of sorts.
That was split between the three.
So I assume this is just its own thing. Like Adam is being paid by All Things Comedy now, and they're making money off of this podcast. I assume is how it breaks down. But I don't know. I don't know the specific details. But this interview had like 225,000 views last I checked, or something.
Oh,
yeah, so he's doing very well. It would be that whatever you think of Adam, the greatest underdog story in comedy history. If he's bigger than Nick and Stein. And Nick, by the way, who I think is like a true genius, like a comedy genius.
Mm-hmm.
If Adam is bigger than both of them, it would be very funny. And it's what Come Town. It's how Come Town was always supposed to end, I think. You know,
I do like that he was like the fat one left to do crowd work. It's very funny.
There is a thing they do. They're like the fans were morons. I do like. Stav is the greatest. What's the word I'm looking for? The greatest offender in this regard.
Oh,
where he's like, the podcast was ruining my life. Talking to these fucking people, I hate it. It's like you did a podcast that required no prep for 2 hours a week. Why do you act like it ruined your life so much?
Nick would just pretend to be a new person, and then you guys would riff on it for an hour.
Right. Yeah, Nick did the work. You guys had to laugh and come up with a few tags to what he was doing.
Tag what he's saying, and then make fun of Adam, punch out.
And make $100,000 a month.
More than that.
Yeah. So good for Adam. Hopefully that continues working for him. Should we talk about my time with GD Fenderson?
Absolutely.
I don't know if you guys know this. I was on Coffee with the Dog the other day. Dog reached out to me. I keep calling him that. I just assume that's his name because that's the name of the show. But Dog reached out to me and he said, do you want to come on and confront GD Fenderson? And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to confront him on. Like, I don't have an issue with the guy. I just find his comedy special like tremendously bad. And I mean that in a way like it's bad in such a unique way that I think deserves to be discussed. And that's interesting. Like that's an achievement to make it that uniquely bad, I think is impressive. So I don't know what I'm going to confront him on. But I'm happy to go on and talk to him if there's something he wants to address. So they sent me a StreamYard link and I can't sign in. You ever had this, Craig, where like, when you get to StreamYard, it's making me sign in with YouTube or Facebook and shit like that.
So he was sending you his login then, it sounds
exactly. Like. This is what I tried. I was like, the link is private or there's something like something's happening. Like you're sending me the wrong link. And they go, nope. The guy, his producer had me call him. And I was like, I'm telling you, like I've had this problem before. There's something you guys can switch that needs to be switched. And I could tell in his tone, he was kind of like, yeah, you're just trying not to come on. And I'm like, no, I don't know what you think this is going to be, but I don't have an issue with this man. I'm happy to talk to him.
Where we are currently sitting, right in this StreamYard room, there is an invite button at the bottom that you click, and that's how I send it to you every time. You've never had that issue when I send you the link.
I know. This is what I was trying to. I've said I use StreamYard every day. Like this is
So
not.
they weirdly sent you to the StreamYard login, is what it sounds like.
Yes, that's exactly right. So this is we're hearing some difficulties that they had in inviting me on here. I think is where we start.
Yeah, this is the confusion.
Yeah.
You on all the platforms?
No, I'm on
His name is Dog, by the way.
X. I just don't know blind. I don't.
Blind Mike at Blind Mike. Pretty simple.
Yeah, that's the wrong Twitter handle. So we're off to a good start.
The link right now.
Well, I asked if that was his name on X. You didn't answer me.
Because I was trying to open it to see. And how difficult is it to put in Blind Mike and
There's
see?
more than one blind mic on X.
There's 5.
That's why I asked, because there's like 50 of them.
He's counted. He's been through this.
Blind Mike's penis.
Great guy, by the way.
to lovely guy. So I didn't realize. So what was happening? They mentioned this to me during the interview. I didn't hear all this preamble. I was trying to get in I was signing into the wrong StreamYard. I was putting in my YouTube credentials for some reason because these guys sent me the wrong link. So I didn't know all this, but they mentioned to me during the interview. They're like, there's a bunch of other blind mics out there. And I assumed he meant like the Gas Digital, like gay blind mic.
Mm-hmm.
So I go, oh, yeah, no, I know that. I didn't realize he was looking at Blind Mike's chef, Blind Mike's water bottle,
Blind Mike's sneakers,
blind Mike's penis.
It'd be very funny if they messaged Blind Mike's sneakers and they're just in hell for the.
They would have had a very different interview. Yeah, so I didn't realize they were looking at all the parody accounts. So yeah, this is definitely my fault, by the way. They almost sent the link to Blind Mike's penis. So it was definitely not their fault. It was totally my fault. When I get in there, I realize Dog and GD Fenderson, they're good guys. What I didn't realize when I went back to clip the interview, not everyone on the show was a great guy. One of them is a tremendous coward that didn't reveal himself to me, but got awfully tough before I was in the room.
Yeah, I need everyone to start loading up.
Get their I was shocked based on how the interview went, which you'll see in a minute. I was shocked when I found these clips because no one mentioned to me that they had an issue with me. So this is very interesting. This is, what is his name? John Beavers?
Beaverman?
Okay. I believe his name is John Beavers. Maybe he goes by Beaverman. It was impressive to have the lack of social footprint that he has when I looked for him. But this is a guy, I guess, I don't know if he was a guest on the show or I don't know what his role is. But he was on the program before I got there.
Kalamazoo. Breaking news. Blind Mike is a pussy. Steven just sent me the link. I was able to hop on immediately. There you go.
Wow. I feel like, all right.
Now, this is the Beef Man. Remember that name. Yeah.
Thanks, GD.
And also,
I need Whale Team 6 to get me the DOS on this guy ASAP.
Thank you, GD. So the Beef Man. That's a pretty cool name. He sounds like a very cool guy. That was the end of that clip?
Yep.
Okay, so let's play. This is when I'm entering the room. So this is him. He's finally giving me the dressing down that I deserve. He calls me a pussy. By the way, I'm on StreamYard. I'm in the room 1 minute later. If you go watch the episode, within 1 minute, I appear on the screen.
Almost like they figured out the problem with the link they were sending you, sent the correct one to this guy and you at the same time.
It's interesting you say that, Craig. They said, try one more time. They messaged me like 20 minutes later and go, try one more time. Incredible, it was fixed.
Weird.
Yeah, it is weird. So I guess I'm a pussy for them sending me the wrong link. But obviously, he realizes what happened and he corrects the record here.
Blind Mike is here. Blind Mike is here. Let's get.
My guy dog is like, this is no pussy. He's right here.
He's here, actually.
What are you talking about?
Blind Mike is here. Blind Mike is here. Let's get.
All right. Well, let me pop out, and you're still a pussy. All right, bye.
Oh, what a ballsy guy. Can you imagine, with no irony, to literally hide and go, you're a pussy. Oh, he's literally hiding from me. I might have heard that when I got into the room, but I assumed it couldn't be about me. I just thought they were having a conversation.
Yeah,
so I don't remember hearing that, but if I did, I wouldn't have known it was about me.
I was so mad watching this.
What a fucking loser. And boy, it's going to be tough. I watched, so GD Fenderson interviewed the guy. It's going to be tough for us to come back at him. Like, I don't know. It's going to be, he's really funny and talented. So it's going to be tough for us to comment on him. Yeah. But he seems like a real ballsy guy. You're a pussy! Gay one. Imagine sprinting away as you call someone a pussy and not seeing the irony in that. So fuck John Beavers, the Beeve Man.
I hate his.
We have a new enemy, folks. Let John Beavers know if you can find him. I found no evidence that he exists other than he was on GD Fenderson's podcast. But
what like this? I've never seen this blatant, just sadness,
cowardice.
Yeah, like it's crazy.
Like, say it to me on the show, but also I showed up. Why am I still a pussy? I'm there. The thing I was, quote, being a pussy for obviously was corrected. I'm there. And I got to tell you, after talking with a dog and GD, what would I be if I didn't show up? What am I a pussy for? Not having a pleasant conversation with these guys? They were lovely.
They were delightful. And also this guy just, he killed you with kindness, just GD Fenderson.
So that's what was so interesting about hearing the energy of this guy's a fucking pussy. Because when I talked to these gentlemen, they couldn't have been lovelier. So let's get into it. The unfortunate thing is I got to stop talking to these fucking people. Because then I start to like them and we can't make fun of them anymore.
We haven't done Ojeda in years.
I know. And we ruined it for me.
He was so great.
I got to stop talking to these people. It's a huge mistake. But let's hear when I'm on with the fellas.
I don't mind. I can take criticism, I guess as well as the next person, or better than the next person, depending on who the next person is. But one thing I really don't like is when someone's criticizing the wrong thing.
This was GD's big. I loved GD for this. He had one problem with our coverage of him. Do you want to guess what it is before we hear it?
I don't know what it is. I'm looking forward to this.
Of all the things we said, we lambasted this fucking guy.
Yeah.
We really went. We dissected from every angle how horrible his comedy is. We talked about how bad an interviewer he is with Tom Myers. We scorched this asshole. This was the one issue he had, and it made me respect him so much that this was his main takeaway.
Recorded that show, the ones that you're doing, the one that you're like 1 hour and 3 minutes into, and you still have like 90 something minutes.
yeah, it's a journey that we're on together.
I gotta be honest, before he even says it, I already love the guy.
He's laughing at his own stuff. Yeah.
Wow. But I'm sorry, but I recorded that in 2016, and when y'all first started talking about it, I think y'all discovered it or came across it in 2020 or something. I don't know, but
no. So the way like YouTube labeled it, it was based on when you uploaded it to YouTube or something. So that's what
okay. That was the second. Yeah, okay. Because the first time I uploaded it was in 2016, and I did not know that each email account YouTube had already set up a channel for it. I didn't know that, so I didn't know I had 3 YouTube channels.
Okay.
And so I'm uploading a video.
There's a real comedy of errors, he explains.
Yeah.
And then I go to YouTube, not much that I had more than once. I logged in and I said, I swear I uploaded that already. And then it turns out that I had some videos are uploaded twice on 2 different locations. Some's not loaded at all. And that special, before I redid it, had like thousands of views on Vimeo and YouTube.
Oh, really?
And I tried to consolidate everything to one place. And when I did that, it lost, everything got reset to 0.
Gotcha. Wow. I didn't have him. I didn't understand what the fuck he was talking about. I tried to consolidate it to one place. He deleted everything.
I think he started that sentence off in one direction and ended up in a different county.
But what ultimately, if I could break down what he was trying to say there, the beautiful thing about my guy GD, the only thing he had a problem with is we kept saying it was from 2020. And he's like, no, it wasn't. He just didn't want to be taken out of context. So when we were like, why the fuck is he talking about Ray Rice here? It doesn't make any sense. He's like, no, it made sense at the time. Don't you get it? So that's the only issue he had with us tearing his special apart.
We should have him on the next time we do it with us to like, so we get in real time. Like, what'd you mean by this?
Well, I did made sure to ask him. I know this was a burning question you guys had. I did make sure to get the answer to certain questions we had.
Yes. This next one is just, damn it.
This is what fucked things up for me. This is where I was like, oh, shit. We're not going to be able to talk about this guy anymore. We're never going to finish this special. Or if we do, it's going to be me going, perfectly said, GD. That was very sharp observation.
Guys, it was 9 years ago.
It was a different time. Back then, it would have been killing.
But yeah, this is, damn it.
For example, the last thing you did when you're watching my that bit is actually called "Is God Laughing?" with GD on the GD Christ.
Yes,
the bit is actually called "Is God Laughing?"
Okay.
When y'all were breaking that down, there were like 3 or 4 things that y'all said that I was watching in the middle of the night. My wife was sleeping next to me, and I was
the visual of that is just.
Well, hold on. Listen to what happens in the Fenderson household. Listen to this.
Laughing so hard, I was waking her up, and I felt bad. And I felt bad that I was waking up my wife because she goes, "What are you doing?" I said, and I had to tell her. I said, "I'm watching Blind Mike," and so she does not like anyone that takes anyone that takes a jab at me. She doesn't look at comedy like I do. I see it as publicity or an opportunity, or I don't take it personally. Not everybody's going to like what I do. Even if you genuinely didn't like me or my comedy, I don't care, because it's not everybody's going to get it. If everybody liked my comedy, everybody would have heard of me already.
And here's the problem with what GD is doing here is when we go back and try to finish his special, all I'm going to be thinking of is he was a nice guy. He laughed at my jokes. And that's all you need to do to soften the blow. You buttered me up, GD. You took the right
Sorry, look, you piece of shit bastard.
Well, yeah, if I came on and you were like,
first of all, how dare you not want to hear the rest of my cat stories, okay?
He's the greatest.
Oh, he's so awesome.
But so he doesn't get to explain it in that clip. He goes on to explain it after. I thought it was in that clip, but he goes, so he gets back to the way, how he's saying, he's like, my wife doesn't like anyone making fun of me.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought he was going to say, so my wife didn't like it. He ends up telling me, my wife doesn't like anyone making fun of me, but I showed her your clips and she was in hysterics. So what happened is we have spent hours making fun of GD. He was laughing so hard that he shook his wife awake, and she is also a fan now.
You got to see this.
I can't make fun of these people.
That thing I worked really hard on to film that was 2 hours long? They're tearing it apart, and it's so funny.
They're my biggest fans. They're all I've got. They're the only thing keeping me afloat here.
All right.
The Fendersons are friends of they're part of the family now. They're friends of the show.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate because it means we can't. So I did get some answers. What were you going to say? I'm sorry.
That's what I was going to get to. Was the first one up.
Well, I got some other answers that I'll fill you in on here. Why was this special 2 hours? You might be asking yourself. His answer is very long. So go watch the full interview if you want the full explanation. Coffee with the Dog is the show. I do not know his channel name.
I'll get it.
Mind Dog or something. I don't know.
Something like
Coffee
that.
with the Dog is the gentleman's name. And he was very nice too, by the way, which we have a clip of him coming up too. But GD, now this is a little bizarre, as all great minds are, you know. The reason he recorded a 2-hour special is because he started comedy at 55.
Yeah.
He's like Rodney, you know?
Yeah.
He started comedy at 55, and he said, well, it's going to take me 10 or 15 years to get good. I don't have that kind of time. In 15 years, I'll be 70. No one's going to want to listen to a 70-year-old that they've never heard of. He's like, so I got to get this all recorded now. All these thoughts in my head. So I'm just going to do all 2 hours that I have written. He recorded that like 6 weeks into comedy.
That's kind of impressive.
I guess so, yeah. And it's funny. Here's what I like about my guys. I tried complimenting GD for that. I was like, the crowd there seemed like into it. I did point that out. And Dog goes, yeah, it was a bringer show. It's all people that are friends of it. Like, don't give him that.
Now.
Whoops, sorry about that. I'm just trying to get the name of the channel.
In
which
the
I
room
gotta
with-
be honest, is impossible.
Oh, Jesus. How is it impossible? You're on it, obviously. That's him.
No, I'm not. This is GD Fenderson posting this.
Oh. Well, just go follow GD Fenderson. So GD Funny on YouTube.
Great
and,
name.
It's a laugh a minute.
GD's in the chat right now.
My guy, what's up, buddy? Hey, hope you're not laughing too hard today, my man.
DJ Electra put the link to Coffee with the Dog in the chat, so everyone click that.
All right, yeah. Especially if you're watching this after, that'll be very helpful.
GD says, "I'm sorry to ruin it. Please feel free to roast me. It's okay. I'm fine with it."
Well, he made sure he emailed me afterwards and was like, "Please keep making fun of me. I can't take this guy's comedy away. You know, I gotta keep making fun, keep giving the laughs to him."
It's just basically you and I trying to solve riddles.
Well, so we get to that. So I asked him about a couple of the jokes that we've talked about over the years. Which is first?
Day job.
So this is most recent. This is fresher in your memories. You guys remember this from last week. Day job view. A lot of people had theories in the comments. I will say one person in the comments nailed it, as GD will explain here. What did day job view mean? And he'll tell us. Do you remember day job view?
Yeah, day job view. I remember saying it. I don't remember in the context. Day job.
So you say something French. You're talking about one of your coworkers, and then he's kind of an idiot. You say something in French, and then you explain it, and then you put up on the screen day job view.
Yeah, because it sounds similar to deja vu.
Right, but you hear me there, like that can't be it, buddy. Come on,
right?
You got to give me something else here. I'm an investigator. I'm like, I can't let you off for that. You got to give me something I can use here, GD. I can't go back to my people with that.
Beyond a reasonable doubt.
I can't go back to box eating dad with only this as evidence. You got to give me something else. Hold on. This is very important to me. I have to answer deja vu first. So there's not a second layer just because it sounds similar to deja vu?
That's it. That's my day job, and this the view of my day job.
Okay.
I mean, it's brilliant. Now it makes perfect sense when he puts it like that.
It really did, and I don't know how he didn't think of that.
The view from his day job makes
Right.
Not only does it make sense, it's hilarious.
It is.
It's the greatest joke I've ever heard in my life. How does he come up with this stuff?
I don't know. Speaking for 2 hours, 6 weeks into comedy is unbelievable.
It's an insane. He should be world famous for that. Like, that's an incredible undertaking.
Right.
And like, we're an hour and change in. You know, the material is what it is. But it's all material. Like, he's not thinking of stuff on the fly. He's not improving. He did come up with things. Say what you want about, how funny it is, but he came up with words and said them for an hour and a half so far.
And I got the first page of the Beaverman DOS.
Oh, good. Who
Yeah.
sent it to you?
Who do you think?
There's two options in my head.
They're all on the case. The ones you're thinking are
Okay,
on.
all
the
right,
case.
good. Okay, good. Keep going, boys. This one, I'd like to find everything about him.
I want everything. Yeah, this is. I got Whale Team 6, as I like to call it. They were my internet hit squad.
Good. Get to work, boys. Start putting canes where they belong.
That's right.
You know what
That's
I'm saying?
right. That's right.
So let's get to another joke that left us wanting more, and that is 6 down.
Yes.
I think I explained it in the clip, so I won't do that here. Go ahead.
So I don't remember the context, so I apologize if I'm doing the disservice. So I don't know if you will remember just from this, but I believe the punchline was 6 down, Trump's Native American name.
Okay, I'm going to ask you one question first.
Okay.
Have you gotten to the parts where I talk about Obama and Clinton and Trump in the election?
I don't remember.
I was like, I don't fucking know, man. Just tell me what the joke means. You son of a bitch. I can't remember.
Well, again, I have to come back with answers.
If I bring this back to my people, my ass is on the line.
DJ Electra is very excited in the chat. She's been dying over this.
Well, bad news, Electra. There's more mystery that we're.
Oh no.
Haven't gotten there, then the answer's in that part. Why that? Yeah.
Oh, cryptic. We're being cryptic about this.
Yes,
Basically, you're saying, I don't know why anybody would be interested in my DVD. Now you're putting out a teaser where everybody has to go back to get the DVD.
I like that. It's smart.
Oh no.
We don't know. We may never know.
We probably saw that section already.
We probably did, right?
GD, if you're still in the chat, what's the answer to 6 down? Tell me.
No. We have to find it. What GD is saying is the answer has been within ourselves the entire time.
Oh,
we just
no.
haven't had the courage to discover it. GD is guiding us to. It's about the journey with 6 down. It's not about the result.
The journey just it won't end.
Yeah, so that's very exciting. We've got something to look forward to, or we listened to it a year ago. One or the other. I can't remember.
And if we don't find it, we're gonna have to go back.
Yeah, we sure are.
We'll do it
sure
again. This is the last clip, and it's just my guys.
My fellas, I'm just hanging with my boys here. The dog gets in on the action. GD, we're just old pals hanging. We ditched the beeve man. We ditched the dead weight, and now the guys are just hanging here.
And I will say, Jameson in the chat has a great question for GD, and it's: did the Zodiac Killer write that joke?
Just Mike, if you could find any way to just kind of criticize my work, I could use the actual extra views here.
Okay. I'll go through it and see what I can come up with.
Yeah. I mean, I will feel hurt about it, but I will feel hurt about it, but also be very grateful for the extra 5 clicks I get out of it.
Now he's slamming me. See?
Yeah, no,
we're brothers.
I think you've been punished enough. So if for some reason you do make it through the first special, you don't need to go through the next 3. Yeah.
There's 3 more?
Wow.
Oh, God.
I know. All right. But they're all 90 minutes or less.
Oh, my God.
90 minutes? Jesus Christ.
That's great to know, though.
90 minutes. This man is prolific.
I love it.
He's the most prolific man in comedy.
What
an incredible amount of material.
He's got 3 more 90-minute specials.
90 minutes or less. I bet some are an hour 20, you know?
Yeah, like 83 minutes.
This son of a bitch, he was affable. He was likable. There was nothing I could do. Even if I was going to confront him, which I had no intention of. But even if I was going to, he charmed the pants off me. There's no what could I say to this guy? He was lovely.
There was no reason to go after him. Beaverman on the other hand.
Even then, there's plenty of reason. So yeah, keep getting to work, gearheads.
You can't
Stay on this.
You can't call someone a pussy while doing the biggest pussy move I've ever seen.
Sprint away? No, it's slightly hypocritical.
You got to at least sit there, and he could have stayed. You wouldn't have known until after.
Well, but even if he stayed and was like, "Oh, thought you weren't gonna show," whatever the fuck he wants to say about me not showing up, what would I have done?
I can tell you this:
choke slammed him. Fuck
probably
you.
Yeah, it probably would have ruined this entire thing, to be honest. If he started,
Yeah, it wouldn't have had the same tone, I don't think, unfortunately. So I wish I heard it, but yeah, it would have made the interview much more about Beeve Man than GD, I think. But the dog was great too, because he's like, "Can you make fun of GD a little bit? Like, I wanted you to bust this guy's balls." Like, he wanted confrontation or something. So I loved Dog. Go watch Coffee with the Dog. Go watch GD Fenderson. You know, if you're asking me, should you actually watch those things for entertainment value? You know, it's up to you. But these are my guys now, so I say go support them.
Unless they publicly execute Beaverman.
There needs to be some sort of response. GD, if you're still watching, the Beaverman or John Beavers needs to be dealt with.
Yeah.
Get this message to Dog. I expect this has to be addressed.
Yeah.
And my guy Dog has to have my back, or there will be massive repercussions.
You need to have him on and play in real time, him being a gigantic pussy.
Yes. That has to be addressed in some form or fashion. But GD's part of the family now. That's all it takes, you know?
Yep. That's right. Should we some super chats here?
Oh, okay. Let's hear them.
Box Eating Dad, $2. Can't wait for the housewarming. I'll bring quiche.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. That's very kind of you. Is he working on this?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Good.
Yeah. Yep.
Good. That's my top guy. That's my top earner.
That's right. Don Fried Chicken, $5. Craig, why can I see pictures of my daughter in the reflection of your glasses?
You want to address that?
I don't know. Because you might have a problem.
Well, that's not going to exonerate you. I don't know is not a great answer.
People see what they want to see. You know what I mean?
I suppose.
Gil, 1995, $2. Money for hand draw thumbnails.
Money for hand draw thumbnails?
That's what he wrote. I read the prompter as is.
Oh, I see. He's giving money for. Yeah. I would imagine that would cost less, probably, right?
Hand drawn?
I guess you'd have to scan. I don't know how that would work, but yeah, I imagine that would cost less.
You have to pay someone or be very skilled in order.
Casey D feels like an artist to me, but don't. This is where I have to tell Casey Day. I'm sure it'd be very funny to now make hand drawn thumbnails, but let's remember this is my channel, and I would like to use it to grow the channel rather than take out some beef you have with a commenter. So let's all try and remember that.
Hand drawn would be so funny.
Again, do it on your own time.
Starberry, $50.
Well, thank you, buddy. That's very generous.
Of course, Craig likes the cartoons. He utilizes the lolly porn loophole.
Oh, you're saying Craig gets? Hey, watch the show that I'm on. It's really cool. Look at it. We do all these cool cartoons. You guys will love it.
$95, $2. Good morning, DJ Electra, with emojis with hard eyes.
Well, she's not here, so
she's not.
Good morning.
She's in the chat.
Yes.
Spare Coin gifted 5 Blind Mike Project memberships.
Thank you, buddy. And if you become a member, you can go watch us talk about George Wendt on the Opie and Anthony show, one of the more uncomfortable interviews they ever did. And I say the Opie and Anthony show, even though it was the first sign of what was to come with Opie and Jim.
Mm-hmm.
It was the warning sign that we all forgot about by the time 2014 came around.
Right.
We were like, maybe this thing has a shot. And Anthony was like, nope, I've seen it.
Not a chance. Poodlerific, $5. Blind Mike is my favorite part of my Sunday morning hangover. Thank you for your work.
That's very sweet. Thank you, buddy.
Adam, $5. I can't believe you got caught Got on coffee with the dog. Your meteoric rise is great, Blind Mike.
Thank you. Yes, it was a lot of work, but I did it despite John Beaver's best efforts to silence me.
And lastly, dope lunchbox, $2. I love Craig.
Well, who doesn't?
That's right. Y'all do.
Alec Baldwin time.
Of course.
You want to play the shorter video first?
1 second.
You know what I'm talking about?
I'll be able to look at the timestamps. No.
Hilaria is using her kids yet again. They haven't gotten her enough attention. But we go through the line of what her children want to be when they grow up. And this is the first time, if you guys didn't watch the Baldwins with us, also on Patreon, if you want to go check that out, or up for YouTube members, this will be the first time some of you are introduced to Eduardo, and we get to learn his dreams.
Talk show host. Rafa. NFL QB. Leo. Artist and actor. Romeo. Soccer player. Edu.
Hey!
Lulu. Chef and doctor. Baby. Me.
That's the only reason I wanted to play it.
After. Me and the baby are matching.
What the hell?
Baby can speak now, by the way. Why they at some point we got to stop calling it baby. That is wild that they've abandoned the child's real name because it's too close to Hilaria's name and it would be confusing.
Yeah, almost like don't do that in the first place.
Eddie, I know I talked over Eduardo, what Eduardo wants to be when he grows up, but he said just a simple landscaper. He just wants to trim the bushes.
I want to take out the trash.
Yeah. So Hilaria using her kids, that's always good to see. But if you scroll a little further down on Alec's Instagram, he always shares Hilaria's videos, but he finally got back in the game. Yeah, there was a special anniversary. And there's nothing Alec likes more than talking death. So it's a nice sunny day. He's on the beach with his family. It's a little windy. And he says, what time better to make a very sad Instagram video?
Today is the anniversary, the 26th of May, of my mom passing away, 3 years.
Woo! Happy anniversary! Has it been 26 already?
It's been 3 years.
It was Memorial Day weekend, the Thursday of that weekend, I believe, that my mom...
Eduardo's getting eaten by a shark.
Yeah, Eduardo's drowning, and he's like, I'm trying to tell the people that my mother's dead, don't you? I'll do this for you in 3 years, Eduardo, all right? No, leave me be.
Eduardo, shake the sand off my blanket.
Eduardo, get my back again. I'm getting a little too much color.
Hospital for the umpteenth time after she was 80. She started to really get a little more consistently ill and not as buoyant as she was prior to that. And then
did you say buoyant?
What?
Did you say she wasn't as buoyant as she once was?
Well, he's out on the beach. He's thinking of floating.
Did his mom drown?
Well, she just couldn't handle the riptide at that age anymore. She wasn't. She didn't have her floating devices on her. She used to be one heck of a swimmer, but when I threw her out in the ocean that day, just sank like a stone.
Prior to that, and then she went into the hospital and started to collapse.
Please, Dad! For the love of God!
Life raft!
Eduardo is dying! And now Romeo is being sucked in trying to save him.
Think of all the chores we'll have to do if Eduardo's gone.
We all miss Grandma, but at what cost?
They were going to give her this, and if that didn't work, they were going to give her this, and if that didn't work, it was pretty much the end.
Oh, Romeo, please. Did you hear that?
No, they've both been sucked in. Is there a lifeguard?
Is there anyone who's a strong swimmer?
I like that we've gotten so deep into the Baldwins that we're just past the fact that this white Irish couple named their children Romeo and Eduardo.
What's wrong with that?
Julio Iglesias Baldwin.
And my sister and all my family were in the hospital, and I guess the best way to put it was they were live streaming my mother's care. Oh, she was there.
Oh, good.
I was on the phone with my sister.
So you all have issues with doing this? That's nice.
Just like I'm live streaming my children's death right behind me. They're going to use this in court when I asked about negligent parenting. It's clear to the jury that I'm talking about my mommy. Don't you see? I don't have time to worry about what these children are doing.
Baby, get away from the water.
Baby, you stay out of there.
To FaceTime with her when my mom died. Because I was driving to somewhere. I was a couple of hours away from them.
I was on my way to kill a woman in New Mexico as when my mother was dying.
That's exactly what it was.
They FaceTimed me. They were very excited to say, "Hi, Alec. These are your mother's final moments in hospice." But I was driving. I couldn't really be bothered by it. You know, I'm clearly 3 years later. I'm very emotional about it, but I couldn't be bothered to answer the phone back then.
I was still a star.
Why are we watching this? Like, if Alec Baldwin is still grieving 3 years later, the death of his mother, that's very sad for him. It's unfortunate. She was 80 when she died, but she lived a life. But you know, it's unfortunate to have to go through that. Obviously, why are you talking about it with us? It's not really our business.
No, it's not.
Drop my family off and go back to Syracuse to step into that room and see what was going on. And as I was driving, I was probably an hour away from my mom died.
But I was in Syracuse, and you know how dangerous that can be. I can't take my eyes off the road to be talking to some bummer who's dying in hospice care. It's just, I'm in Syracuse. Don't you understand? I'm looking at a statue of Jerry McNamara. There are a lot of things to see.
He was on his way to Vermont.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah, I really needed that pizza with eggs on it.
that I can't blame him for. That's enticing.
You know, at times rocky relationship with my mom. When I was
Frankly,
young.
I was a little glad the old bag was gone. I said, you know, good riddance to bad rubbish, as I always say. But, well, now I'm a little sad about it, I guess. So,
in the middle of this video, he's got 3 surviving children.
No, Carmine, you're the oldest.
He's like, where's that pig? She can float.
Well, she comes up.
Oh, God.
He would have gladly thrown her in the ocean, as we're about to find out.
I got older, I was much more made peace with her and appreciated her.
Hey, shut up. I'm talking about my mommy. Now, and as I was saying, as I was older, she stopped making me clean my room and making me do my homework. So I didn't mind her as much, quite frankly.
I'm saying mommy is so funny.
I'm talking about my mommy. Leave me alone. Go find your mommy. She's probably mispronouncing the word ocean right now.
No shit. How you say seawater?
What are you saying? Much more loving and kind.
Oh, wait, hold on. What are you saying? Oh, nothing good. Back to my video. Nothing worse. I'm saying Romeo and Eduardo have died. Send help.
Whenever I was in a car for a couple of hours, that was always the time to call my mom, so I could talk to her without a deadline that I had to get off. I sometimes talk to my mom for half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour in the last few years.
Unlike my kids, they won't have that luxury because I'm making that video. This is having this thought of cherishing every moment with my mother. It taught me a lot, but one of those lessons was not to spend time with my children because, as you see, they're having a crisis, and I'm instead talking to Instagram.
I was driving out to Long Island, especially. What are you saying? Look at me.
I don't care if the things I tied to your feet are too heavy. Get in the water.
She's just pointing at the water. Like, look.
They're all gone. Every one of them.
By the end of this video, it's gonna be like it's gonna sound like he's in a sound studio. It's gonna be so quiet.
They're all gone. It's just Carmen trying to tell him that every one of them.
There's no survivors.
Even baby.
7, 8, including Ireland, and my mother's grandson.
Okay, go back. Listen to how he describes the amount of children he has. Go back a little, please. There's no world where Ireland wouldn't be one of his kids.
Not one.
Ireland, Alec came inside of a woman. That woman birthed Ireland Baldwin. That's his daughter. Listen to how he describes the number of children he has.
Well, I contributed 7, 8, including Ireland, and my mother's grandson.
He made this face like, oh shit, there's actually one more.
Now that I think about it, I guess if you include that nasty little pig as a human being, I suppose there are 8 kids that I have. Wow, I never really thought of it that way because I don't value her or her life, so I don't lump her in with the ones I pretend to love, but I guess she is in that group now that I think about it.
That's a prime example of Hilaria being like, you have 7 children. You have 7 children. Really?
Poor Ireland. Like, listen, I'm sure there are plenty of things from all of our childhoods where if they were released to the public, our parents wouldn't look great. And any of you that have kids, I'm sure there are moments that if they were caught on film, they wouldn't be, shining moments of great parenting. But what we have from Alec Baldwin is a recording of him calling his daughter a rotten little pig. And here we are 20 years later where he's still like, I guess she is my daughter, I suppose, if you're going to be technical about it. If you're going to jam me up on this, I suppose, just so I don't get it in the comments. Yes, I have 8 kids, but 7 that I value.
My mother had a lot of grandchildren and great-grandchildren before she died. And I just want to say we all miss you, Mom.
Eduardo was so beautiful. I'm going to miss him.
Romeo, who's going to bring my beach things back to my car?
He is laser focused on this Instagram video, and there's chaos going on around him.
I love you and hope you're somewhere that's peaceful, high, and comfortable, joyful, and spiritually.
You can hear it in the distance.
I'm coming, Romeo. You're not gone yet. I'll be right there. Meanwhile, he's tapping into the laser focus that he was taught by Broadway Steve Ferenz. He's in the pocket making this video.
Yeah. Needed Tony left and Tony right to watch his blind side there.
It's amazing he's so focused because he's really saying nothing. He's like, my mother died some years ago, and I'm still alive, and my kids are still alive, and I guess that's kind of the circle of life now that I think about it. Like, he's saying nothing of value.
The whole point of that video is just be like, my mom died, and I was the only one not there.
Don't you guys feel bad for me that I didn't have the final goodbye with my mother? I was so horny because back then I was dating a yoga instructor who would go on to ruin my life. And if I could go back in time and say goodbye to my mother instead, then boy, would things be different right now. I wouldn't have these little bastards screaming behind me.
You got a couple super chats here.
Oh.
Jack Sampson, $2. Please, Coach HP, don't make friends with Mike.
Don't worry. I don't think that's a problem. I don't think he has any interest in that.
No, he does the fake thing online, but he hates him offline.
Were we done with this video?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't get a chance to say goodbye to Alec.
He didn't get a chance to say goodbye to his mom. Now you know what it's like.
Wow, that really came full circle. Now I know what it's like.
You know what? It stings.
In 3 years, I'm going to be like, I remember when I was watching Instagram and I thought we'd have a lot more time to discuss the video. But
And Flatbush Tommy, $2. It's a prop beach. No one is in any real danger.
Oh, good. It's fake water.
It's fake water. The armorer got the fake water.
Well, thank goodness.
Uh,
I think all we have left is the Opster. Am I wrong about that?
That is correct.
Let's talk about Opie, because this guy is causing mayhem in the streets. It's the talk of the Dabbleverse. It's the talk of the internet, really, that Opie has taken New York by storm, and no one knows how to handle it. And this time, he's also calling out Joe Rogan and Howard Stern. You know, I got to tell you something. When you talk about, like, edgy, hot takes, and you hear what Opie says about Howard Stern and Howard's wife, I'm going to give you a little tease just so you're prepared to hear some of this stuff later. Howard Stern washed up. You believe that? You believe that? I know.
Should look into it.
In 2025, I mean, who would have a take like that? Howard Stern, I'd go as far as to say he's gone Hollywood, and Opie seems to agree with me.
Howie Hampton, some call him.
Very unique. So we'll get into some of Opie's hot takes, but he's also just meandering around the city and pretending for some reason that is content. Like, wild stuff is just going to appear to him. It hasn't happened yet in, I don't know, 6 years he's been doing this or however long it's been, but it's going to happen eventually. Opie's persistence is king here. So let's get into it.
Fogarty 80, baby. Go backstage with him. Yeah, I would love to. I did a fine interview.
And just so anyone that's watching, he's responding to a chat that we cannot see.
Oh, true. But so he's outside some concert. It's a 80th birthday celebration for John Fogerty. I believe he's at the Beacon Theater, if I remember correctly.
That is correct.
So John Fogerty, of CCR fame, he's celebrating his 80th. That's pretty incredible. Let's see how Opie handles that news here and how he makes it about himself.
Mr. Fogarty, I got a lot of props on that one. And Mr. Fogarty actually contacted me recently, or one of his people, and said, "Hey, man, we'd like to feature a couple." Oh my God, we got some action coming up that you got to see.
Nice. Are there freaks? Are you going to point your camera at freaks and we can all laugh at them? Yes, I hope so, Opie.
Destroy them.
Did you hear some of your quotes on my social media? I'm like, are you kidding me? Of course.
Go back. I'm sorry. We talked over that a little bit. Go back just a little bit. Here's what you need to know. John Fogerty was on Opie and Jim, I think. So Opie conducted such an amazing interview with John Fogerty. Oh my God. The questions he asked John Fogerty. We're still talking about him to this day.
That's right.
It was really something. And that stuck with John Fogerty's people. So they reached out to him. And what did they ask Craig? Could I hear that again?
Recently, or one of his people, and said, "Hey, man, we'd like to feature a couple." Oh my God, we got some action coming up that you got to see for yourself.
We will.
It's problematic, but Fogarty's like, "Can I use some of your clips on my social media?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Of course."
I mean, that just didn't happen.
No, it didn't.
I'm always interested because, like, we talk about this all the time. I'm fascinated with pathological liars because my assumption is always, I get lying, like, did you do your homework? Yes, I did. I get lying to get out of trouble. That I can wrap my mind around that. I don't understand completely making up something that no one believes is true, but also doesn't have to be. Like, no one would be like, hey, how come John Fogerty hasn't posted advertisements on Opie's TikTok? Like, it would never come up. So why lie about it?
I don't know. He's such
why would John Fogerty's people go, you know what? We got to get the word out. No one appreciates John Fogerty, not like they used to anyways. We got to get the word out. We got to go to this 60-something-year-old shock jock who has 15 views on some of his videos.
I was going to say they're going to go check in. They're just going to see some old guy with just sleep in his eyes still. And he's just like, yeah, this is my place. Shut up. Like just yelling at everyone.
And it's not like, first of all, anyone watching Opie, they're aware who John Fogerty is.
Yeah.
They're aware he exists. And it's not like Opie is doing rock you know, he's not a history of rock and roll guy now or anything like that, which maybe he'd be good at. Opie. Well, actually, like Opie, I think knows music a little bit. Maybe he should be doing stuff like that, but he's not. So who is this appealing to that needs to get the message about John Fogerty? What a ridiculous lie. And by the way, where are those videos, Opie? Because you said, of course. Oh, of course, I'd love to do that. I guess we got to look for the John Fogerty videos. I'm sure they're coming any time now.
Right. Next, we have action.
Okay, so he teased a little action. Oh, he's got some stuff that could be problematic coming up. Craig?
Yep.
Try and remain calm during this. It's going to trigger warning, everyone. Craig and a lot of you are about to get fired up.
Wait, you're dressed like that and you don't want any cameras in your face?
A freak! Expose them!
This is unbelievable because this guy is just like, I'm as left as it gets on Twitter, right? And he goes up to a transgender person on the street and is like, you're dressed like that and you don't want me to.
Well, this is what we were saying. You weren't here, right? I think it was Casey Day. But we were talking about this with Anthony, where I'm like, say what you want about Anthony. He is who he is, you know? Like Anthony's not hiding anything. Opie does this thing where he's like, Anthony was a racist and he ruined my reputation. All right, look at this. Here's a freak. Let's laugh at him, everyone. Let's laugh at the freak on the street.
Wait, you're dressed like that and you don't want any cameras in your face?
No, I want people to say, may I?
Oh, may I?
That's pretty reasonable, sir, ma'am, whatever. Like, hey, I listen, I get that you're a mutant, but you're being the reasonable one in this exchange.
Is he walking around with a full fucking size camera? I'm trying to look at him in the
2 cameras. Oh, you don't know this?
No.
Oh, Craig, you're missing out, buddy. Opie has 2 cameras. One to live stream, so we all get to see the magic live. And the other camera is so he can replace that video later with HD quality.
It's almost like get an iPhone and you'll solve your problems.
You're missing it. You must not have heard what I said. He live streams, so it's live, and we all get to join in that. But like when you're watching live, you're like, imagine if I could see this trans person. Ew. Imagine if I could see them in pristine HD quality.
You can see the beard stubble now.
Oh my God! It is a guy. Opie was right.
You're the best. You better give me a hug too.
Why is he freaking out?
Oh, there you go. Now I'll smile.
Listen to that again. Sorry, go back a little more. But they're like, hey, I just want you to say, may I? And Opie's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. It's not that there's no one more desperate to make a meal out of absolutely nothing. The man has no ingredients, and he is intent on cooking a 3-course meal with a completely empty refrigerator.
Oh, may I? May I?
Yeah. You're the best. You better give me a hug too.
Okay.
I'll hug you.
So Opie's excited. That means something great is coming. He's like, oh, yes, I get to expose this goblin. Thank God. So Opie's got something wild up his sleeve, as you heard with that reaction there. Let's see what he does. Let's see the comeuppance he gives. Hey, listen, if you're going to walk out of the house like that, you better read. I can't talk. Who am I to criticize Opie? Let me start over. If you're going to walk out of the house like that, you better be prepared to get Opied.
Oh, there you go. Now I'll smile.
Oh my God, this turned out great.
It honestly looks like Adam Friedland in drag.
Okay.
I'm live streaming to the world. What do you want to say? Literally to the world. What? You can say anything.
Santa Kalan, Amdir, Amela.
What does that mean?
It'd be great if a bomb belt went off in that moment. In a way, it is for the entire video. But
yeah,
just saying the equivalent of a Lal Akbar, and and we're like, thank God he was live streaming with the other camera.
The world.
Elvis.
That was Elvis?
No, not Elvis. Elvish.
As in Tolkien. Oh, elfish. Elfish. You just did some elfish. Why are you dressed like that? I mean, I don't mean to be nosy.
Opie is a 6-year-old.
Are you like?
Why you dressed like that? Why, mommy? Why is that man dressed like a lady?
He starts singing Aerosmith.
I don't know, because I got a lot of mental problems, man. My parents weren't great to me. I don't know. What do you want from me?
For some, the special is this like your Thursday outfit?
Every day is special.
Of course it is. You gonna go see John Fogerty?
I would, but I can't.
Why?
I can't come tonight.
All right. Well, you look.
Opie, keep digging. We got to get to the bottom of this. Why isn't this person going to see John Fogerty? Don't let her off that easy.
John Fogerty is, fine and everything, but it's not like a Springsteen level.
When you saw this, you weren't like, Fogerty's turning 80 and I'm not there to celebrate?
Yeah, I'm surprised I made it to this show.
I didn't get the invitation for Fogerty's 80th? You sandbaggers?
Thank you. And every day it's a different outfit.
Wait, you know this person?
Every day. Hi, my friend. Hi, how are you?
And you don't bully them?
So this other person's now hugging, according to Opie, this thing.
Yeah. You know this freak and you're not sticking a camera in their face constantly?
There's more hugs going on. Wait, every day there's a different outfit?
Every day's different outfit.
Do you wear the same fucking thing every day, Opie?
Yeah. Opie thinks, because everyone on the streets of New York is a character in Opie's story.
Yeah.
So to him, they're like Doug Funny. Like they have a closet of all the same outfits that they wear every day. but now, so the point, and listen, we were all on board. We were hoping Opie was going somewhere with this, because when you see this guy dressing like a lady, you're like, there's got to be a story here. There's got to be. It's not just a mentally ill person. There's got to be hours worth of story here. You're like, this is the freak that Opie is covering. But it turns out the tables have been flipped upside down. And now the freak is the 60-year-old man interrupting this conversation between two people who know each other.
Dr. Scotty Jones in the chat with a great point. Trans people only have one outfit.
Oh, good. Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right.
It's very.
You touched that thing?
That is what Opie's doing, by the way. When we talked about Opie last, it was like, guys, we're gonna go watch how blacks interact with each other. Like we're gonna go in the streets where black people walk around, and I bet something's crazy is gonna happen. It's gonna be madness. And now he's doing it with trans people, where he's like, guys, these people aren't like me. Let's see what they're about.
Look, but don't touch.
It's a zoo. New York City has become a zoo exhibit to Opie, where he looks for non-straight whites.
Well,
and he's like, look at him.
But you're 100% correct with that, because as we'll see later, he's just harassing people eating breakfast.
Right.
All right, I'm going to let you go. Do you fist bump? Fist bump.
Is that what you people do in your culture? Or
do you know what this is?
Try your live stream a lot. Bye. Good to see you. Oh, that'll trigger some people, huh?
Whoa! Craig, how have you held your composure this long?
I like how he's like, that'll trigger some people. I'm like, nah, it might trigger the people you think are your friends because you're treating that person like.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. The people that Opie thinks, like the group that Opie thinks he's a part of, might be triggered by that, where they're like, why are you just sticking a camera in this person's face? Because you think they're trans or a cross-dresser or something? So you're calling them a freak, basically?
What a weirdo.
But like, there's no right-winger that's going to look at that video and go, I can't take it.
I got to be honest. I think the right, like, truly doesn't care what people do. It's when it spills into, like, taxes and all that crap that is the issue.
Yeah, definitely.
If it doesn't, I mean, if you do it, it doesn't affect anyone.
Yeah, no, Dylan Mulvaney, all our taxes went up when that happened, for sure.
Hey, you can stop. You can stop listening to music.
No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you. Bruce Springsteen raised our taxes at that concert last week. I'm agreeing.
I can only speak for the show.
Why are we doing this? Play the fucking Opie clips.
I don't know. I don't fucking know. You kept going, but this next one is Unleashed.
Oh, get ready to get Mental. This is going to be nuts. Take the collars off.
I'm ready. Should I stretch before this one?
You might want to. Yeah. I don't know how limber you are, but you might want to.
Mike Larson, talk about Unleashed Wild Stuff. Oh, are you here to hate, Mike? Are you? Mike's here to hate everybody. Yuck. Yeah, the Unleashed channel is actually doing well. I just got monetized over there. It's not.
Whoa!
You know, I'll be making tens of dollars a month, but I did get monetized.
He's just filming a Barbie exhibit.
By the way, he did say, Mike, are you trolling? I think I might want that in the outro. You having fun, Mike? Can we go back to the beginning? I might have to hear that again.
Mike Larson, talk about Unleashed Wild Stuff. Oh, are you here to hate, Mike?
Yeah, there we go. There we go. I think we might need that in the outro.
All right, mark that.
Are you here to hate, Mike? By the way, when we got monetized, I believe the threshold was 1,000 followers.
Yes.
And I think it's less now, actually.
Is it really?
Yeah. So Opie being like, finally, I got monetized. Also, if we talk about this Unleashed channel, Opie on the Opie radio channel has like 100-something thousand followers or subscribers.
You wouldn't be able to tell by the view count.
Unleashed just got monetized, and they post the same videos. So that's the other thing is all these live streams, they go on the Opie radio account and the Opie Unleashed account. So they're just two channels posting the same stuff for no reason.
Does he think there's like something broken with his channel if he has all those?
Yeah, I think he thinks he got like shadow banned or something. Like he's like, I have 100,000 subscribers and 80 views on this video. Something must be wrong. And I think the thing that was wrong might have been in the videos.
Yuck. Yeah, the Unleashed channel is actually doing well. I just got monetized over there. It's not you know, I'll be making tens of dollars a month, but I did get monetized. Oh damn, I got a lot of Barbie stuff. I wonder if I could like.
He's unleashed.
This is crazy.
The Barbie stuff over there.
I can't believe the guy's doing this. Now, I don't know if you saw it, but like was it yesterday or 2 days ago, some guy was walking probably in a similar area by Jeff Bezos, his penthouse, filming a crew bringing his new furniture in his house by renting out a crane. That was interesting. This is just people.
Opie saw that and was like, damn it.
Yes.
I should have been there. No, I'll tell you what's fucking crazy is a guy soberly contemplating getting a few extra dollars for his daughter's old toys. That's nuts. How is YouTube allowing this?
I don't know. We just have what brand is Barbie? Is that like Mattel or something?
That sounds right. Yeah.
You should just be like, hey, there's copyright in this video.
You want to watch out for this, Mattel.
Latvia checking in. What's up, Latvia? Yeah, it is a girl's life in there. You are correct.
Just me being unleashed here. Just off the chain.
Just wild, though.
You guys give me the side eye. I just gave him the side eye back. Like, what's up, bro?
Whoa.
What's up with you, bro?
Anthony getting a radio show is so funny.
Why?
Because it's all Opie's ever wanted since he got fired.
But he's doing this now. I'm happy doing my own thing. Every human being is content. We saw the hilarity that came from him seeing a cross-dresser or transport, whatever they are. Yeah.
Whoa, Opie's rubbing off on you, Mike.
Well, I don't know what the person looks like, and I watched Karl talk about the same video, and he was like, I think it's actually just a cross-dresser.
I think so. They weren't. It wasn't. We'll put it this way: it wasn't a trickster.
Right. So, trickster. So, but like that, of course, is going to be some crazy content. But now Opie sees a guy who just kind of did a thing with his face, and even that should be content.
Yeah.
The guy probably just looked at you because you're carrying a camera. You're making yourself a nuisance. A guy looked over at you, and you're like, "What the fuck is he looking at?"
Next, we have more people skills, which is when he just goes by an outdoor restaurant.
Oh, good. Let's. Everyone is content for Opie, and these people are no different.
That's a nice ride. Oh no! You want to be on it? Why? I got a pretty.
Why would I?
All right. I'm not showing you.
He's showing me.
Toronto Blue Jays? Yeah. Come on, man. You gotta be nice because in Canada, everybody's very nice. I'm a huge Bills fan, so I respect.
By the way, no, he isn't. He used to be a Jets fan on the Opie and Anthony show.
Well, the Bills are the team.
You're not a huge fan of anything if you have multiple teams. Like, I'm basically jokingly a Yankees fan. I can't be like, I'm a diehard, brother.
Yeah.
Not the Blue Jays, man. Come on, man. Who wears a Toronto Blue Jays hat?
Blue Jays fans.
They don't even wear those things in Toronto.
I mean, I don't know. They have one of the biggest stars in baseball, right?
One of, yeah.
Yeah, like,
Sure.
I don't know. I know they're not great, but I'm sure Blue Jays fans still wear the hats.
Mike. Opie's about to take on the church.
Oh, no. Do we even want to show this?
I don't know. YouTube, if you're watching and you're policing these videos, this is not.
Take mercy on us. We're just reporting.
Oh, yeah, they're trying to save the church. Yo, the church open today. Why? What the fuck, man?
Do you hear the guy? He goes, "The church open today?" He goes, "No." And he goes, "Why?" He goes, "I don't know."
It might even be open for all I know. I'm just a guy.
I'm literally just taking a break on the steps.
Churches should be open all the time. Right. All right, thanks, sir. I don't think Jesus would appreciate churches closing ever. If he was alive, he'd be like, "What are you doing?"
Well, I got news for you. If he was alive, I don't know that he would have had the impact that he did.
If he was alive, it would be pre any of the things happening that caused the books to be written.
If Jesus just died of old age, I don't know that he would have had the impact that he did.
Oh, we don't want the riffraff in our church. Yeah, but that's the whole thing I started. Taking care of the riffraff. Yeah, but they crap all over the place. We have to clean it up for the. I don't give a crap. I'm Jesus.
It is funny. You got to give him this. It's funny the way he says Jesus. That's not normal.
No, he is unhinged.
He's saying Jesus.
Yeah.
That's not how you say it, Opie. Come on.
Well, you thought some people were safe. Well, they're not.
Oh, no.
Beth Stern.
Oh, well, before we get to that, I just want to mention these are the highlights.
Yes.
I've assembled the most exciting stuff that is happening on Opie Unleashed. Listen, man on the street stuff is not easy. I've filmed a lot of bad versions of it. And you haven't seen most of it because most of it is walking around looking for people to talk to, and a lot of them are uninteresting.
Right.
So there's just nothing there. You don't have to post all of it. Opie, like, this is all that his channel is. I'm not going out of my way to edit out the crazy stuff. These are the highlights. This is the most extreme version of this show. If Opie said, "You're my producer now," Opie hires me. Find the best segments. This is all I got. This is all I have to work with. So he's taking on Beth Stern here, right?
Yes.
This is Opie shows you what a man he is. He would always, I mean, who was better to going after Howard than the Opester? So this is how he handled running into the Stern family on the street.
Howard Stern and his lovely bride. Yeah, Howard's wife loved my son when he was a lot younger, and I was strolling him around the neighborhood.
Can I say something? She didn't love him.
No.
She saw. I'm sure she would see Opie in the neighborhood, and was, oh my god, he was probably a cute kid, and she was like, hey, buddy, and she did not leave that exchange and think, now how can I spend more time with that young man? I love him so much. I'd like to make a difference in his life.
I need his digits.
What delusion to be like, Beth Stern was in love with my son. She saw you on the street a few times and was polite. She's a nice person. That's what this story is. And he's going to tell how he infiltrated her mind. He got it. She didn't even know he was in there. He was working that thing with knobs.
Mike, Howard Stern, was he a fan of Opie and Anthony?
As a matter of fact, Craig, famously, he wasn't.
Okay, so if she loved Opie's son the way that he's describing, she probably would have, asked for the name, right?
That's an excellent point, Craig. Well, we'll see what happens when she realized it was a young Hughes that she was seeing.
Howard, when he used to live in New York, before he decided to hide in his basement. And I would see her very regularly in the neighborhood doing a little shopping here and there. And more than once, she would acknowledge how cute my son was.
Whoa, twice?
More than once, folks. I mean, if you think this was a one-time thing, she came back for seconds. She was thirsty, this lady.
He's adorable. Thank you very much. How are you? Of course, I didn't tell her who I was.
He's the John Beavers of the Howard Stern universe.
Motherfucker, I hate Beaver.
Opie cowardice hid from Beth Stern. And it was like, this is my son. Oh, what's your name? Jeff. Don't worry about my name.
Samson is my last name.
And by the way, like, I remember there was a story that Anthony saw Howard out at a casino or something.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a clip of both of them talking. Like, Howard talked about it and Anthony talked about it respectively on their shows. And they were kind of both like, what am I going to get in a fight with the guy? Like, what's the big deal? You know what I mean? Like, they were civil towards each other. They waved to each other and said hello. What about their way? Opie still has, like, he's black ops. He's on a secret mission. Like, he's sneakily infiltrating Beth Stern's world, and she has no idea.
He infiltrated the Stern house.
And now she's going home at night thinking of Hudson Hughes.
Next, he goes from Beth to E-Rock.
Oh, good. It's about time E-Rock got his comeuppance. We're going to learn Opie's, he's over it. He's grown up. He doesn't really think about Opie and Anthony that much, or their producers, or any of those days, which is good news for E-Rock.
Thoughts on E-Rock? No thoughts. No thoughts.
We can move on then.
No thoughts.
Terrific. Let's go on to the next set. Let's find a Puerto Rican to point the camera at. What do you say, Ope? So you have no thoughts? Let's all move on. What do you say?
I don't want to burst your bubble, Mike, but there's still 40 seconds left in this clip.
Oh, well, it's probably him moving on. He doesn't have anything to say about it. Maybe it's just silence. That's a strange way to clip this.
Fair point.
I kind of feel like I've said everything I need to say about Opie and Anthony, the crew of Opie and Anthony, my time with Opie and Anthony. I think I've said it.
Okay, let's move on.
I'm sure there'll be stuff that comes up, but I just don't feel like becoming a broken record.
Totally fine. 100%. Hey, you know what, Ope? I get it. Totally get it. Why be a broken record? Let's all move on then and go our separate ways. Sounds like you have nothing to say.
I actually would have a lot to say about E-Rock. But, as the kids would say, leave it alone. Oh, yeah. Right.
No, you idiot. They're mocking you when they say that. You moron. Leave it alone is what Opie, like a little baby, said to Anthony over and over again in their fight. As the kids say, leave it alone. Does he not know he's making fun of himself?
Leave it alone.
I love that, though. Like,
I don't want to talk about these guys. Actually, if I did want to talk about them, though, I would it would blow your minds what I could say about this guy. And that's what he did in the great grape incident, where he's like, "You don't think I have things I could say about you, Anthony?" And Anthony's like, "Say them. What are we doing? Like, just say them. Let's have this out so we can all move on." And he's like, "You don't want that, man. You don't want the nukes that I've got." And so he has that on E-Rock, but he's being a gentleman. He's not going to say it.
Oh, damn. All right. We're back to Pringles.
Oh, good. Good. I'm glad we moved on for what actually could be interesting. You revealing what you have about E-Rock. And he's like, no. Don't you understand? I have a job to do. Pringles exist, and they need to be talked about.
We got other flavors. This is going to be the Pringles live stream. We got original. We got the honey mustard has joined the competition. We got the barbecue. We got the sour cream and onion. Oh, this is the one someone was just talking about. We got the fuego.
You kidding me?
What is this one?
I mean, sour cream and onion and barbecue, that blows my mind a little bit. But they've even got hot Pringles now?
No.
You gotta be shitting me.
I don't want to ruin this for you, Mike, but these aren't Pringles. He's just stupid.
Oh, what are they?
They're Takis.
What the hell is that?
It's a different chip.
Why does he think they're Pringles?
Because they're in a similar container.
What a jackass.
Intensity
But he says, I've heard about these, as if like the Pringles craze has gotten back to him.
Pringles Reddit.
Yeah, where's he hearing about that? That's a good question.
Oh, wait. Taste the intensity on the go. I don't know, fuego. Takis, crisps, fuego. Oh, okay. And then we got the cheddar, right? And then we got the original. Man.
But he realizes they're Takis and doesn't really acknowledge that they're not Pringles.
I gotta be
Does
honest.
he think that's a form of Pringle?
It just made me kind of want to try the honey mustard Pringles.
Well, that's what Opie's great at. He suckers you in, and you're like, I kind of want to. He's water in my mouth here. I'm interested.
Now they could be actually honey mustard Lays or Cape Cod chips.
Right. We have no fucking idea what they are, I guess.
I've been fooled.
I've been hearing a lot about these Fuego Pringles. Where? I mean, he is literally on the street all the time, so it's probably he keeps his ear to the ground.
That's very true. This one is a fun fact.
I bet it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's hear Opie's fun facts.
You know what? This walk's getting boring, so let me do a little cut down.
It's just getting boring.
Cool. Yeah, let's try to get in that church real fast.
Ooh, that's going to come into play, guys.
Yes, it is.
That's not the church that was closed. Opie found another church.
Money the Catholic Church has. Disgustingly wealthy.
Man, he's really. Are you listening, Craig? I know you're hearing him.
Mm-hmm.
He's really saying something here. Are you listening?
I've never heard this in my life.
This is an interesting take. The Catholic Church. What the fuck do they get all that money for? Tax free?
That's what I'm going to say. They don't have to pay tax on their land.
It's ridiculous. Opie's opening my eyes here.
Wow.
They're like the biggest landowner in the world. All right, here's a little question for you. Do not AI it. Do not Google it. If you win this, I will buy you a fine craft beer at Get Thoughts next time you're in New York City.
You will never do that. This will never come to fruition, but okay.
Hi, Opie. I'm the guy that won the contest. Get away from me, you freak.
Opie hides in the basement of Gepard's with Ron the waiter, so I don't think this is going to happen. But all right, let's hear where this empty gesture is.
Number one and number two, okay? I think the Catholic Church is the number one landowner.
Actually not. But.
It's probably China at this point.
No, I think it's the royal family.
The royal family?
I believe so. But regardless, this incorrect fact that he's going to give you is about to blow your mind.
Second, this will surprise you. Now, someone could have taken this spot, but until recently, this this entity, let's call it an entity, was second. And Bildo wins the craft beer from Get Thoughts. The answer is not Scientology. The answer is McDonald's.
What?
Oh my God.
Are you shitting me?
The largest chain in the world owns
Oh
land?
my, wait, the McDonald's in my town isn't the only one?
No.
That's wild. What do they own so much land for?
I got to take you to this local spot, McDonald's.
By the way, I don't even know if he's right, but we all saw the founder. We all remember BJ Novak's scene, Opie. Yes. We also saw the movie.
It's either the first or the second entity that owns the most land in the entire world. Isn't that crazy? Catholic Church and McDonald's.
Not particularly.
Mickey D's baby. Oh, that's
It's the kind of thing where you're like, you wouldn't guess McDonald's necessarily, but when you hear it, you're like, oh yeah, makes sense. Even Opie's trivia is mild. He's like, this is about to blow your minds. McDonald's has a great deal of land.
It goes British royal family 1.
Yep.
Catholic Church 2.
Okay.
Inuit people of Nunavut.
So we're not even close, but all right.
Gina Reinhardt,
I don't
John
know who that is, but-
Malone, and Ted Turner.
That can't. Where's McDonald's on this list?
It's not, unfortunately.
Wow. Okay, guys, trivia question. Who's not in the top 6 of the most, the greatest landowners in the world? Ted Turner's on that list?
Ted Turner is on that list. Number 5 in the world, 2 million acres.
Good for him.
Yep. McDonald's is not in the top 10. I just found a top 10.
Where is Opie getting this information?
I have no idea.
You know what? I want Opie. I'm going to let you off the hook. I want that beer null and void. That guy, he doesn't deserve a free beer. So I think you're off. You're off easy there, pal.
Well, the question was formed into who knows what I'm thinking?
I'm all right. Next, I'm thinking of a number. Who's got it in the chat? Free beer if you travel to where I happen to be sitting at a certain time.
Now we have Church is exposed, Mike. He's unleashed all the hell.
Okay. So he did, when we talked about this a couple weeks ago with Casey Day, he did walk into a church, and I imagine he was just casing the joint because he was only in there for about 5 seconds.
Right.
But that's him kind of getting the lay of the land. He's like, I was the arbiter of sex for Sam. Like that was me back in the day, controlling that whole situation.
That's right.
But now it's time to take my skills to the streets. Let's see what Opie does when he starts to wreak havoc on these greedy bastards.
I will bow. I'm bowing. I'm doing the sign of the cross. Respect. Respect, bitches. Oh my God.
Oh, if you didn't catch it, if you don't get why he's acting like he's edgy, he said bitches in a church.
And then he turned around and some lady's just going to sit in a pew, and he's like,
It's crazy. He's ruining someone's day, isn't that all? This lady who's probably going through a terrible time.
yes.
If you're just in the middle of the day going to a church to pray, odds are there's some darkness in your life.
Yeah.
And Opie's just has no problem just ruining that.
Oh my God. Oh, look at the stained glass. Oh my God.
Has he ever been in a church?
I guess he's being sarcastic.
I've never seen
It's
it.
actually not that amazing.
Sorry, ma'am. Enjoy.
Her husband's dying. And just be in her face.
And he says, enjoy.
All right. This live stream might be over.
You could say that about your career, Ope. That was it, by the way. I didn't start that 40 minutes into him being in the church. That's what he did in the church. He's like, you know what? These sons of bitches have had it good for too long. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to take down the Catholic Church.
Even
he does say at another point in the video, he's like, I want to make a video exposing these people for what they are. Boy, did he. I mean, stained glass, you can imagine how much that costs.
even he had like a conscience in there. He's like, I shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, this lady's probably dealing with a lot.
We're on to our last clip here.
Well, this is tough for me. You guys know, I like Rogan. The man has his problems. We criticize him here and there, but overall, I think he's done a tremendous thing, what he's built with the Joe Rogan experience, but it's all about to come crumbling down. This is, by the way, this is the last 3 minutes of the video.
Yeah.
The video is titled John Fogerty and Joe Rogan. So I felt even though we're barely talking about Joe Rogan, I felt we had to put his name in the title of today's program because as just an homage to Opie, where he's like, guys, we're getting into Rogan and Fogerty today. And he spends 40 seconds on each of them.
I literally made zero money. I literally am 3 likes away from live streaming again. If I don't get those 3 likes, I never live stream again. And
guys, it's in your hands.
Erase your likes if you like the video.
This is all on you. Now, if we play another Opie video next week, it's your fault.
That's right.
Zero money today. So I would have to say that I'm the stupid one for not behaving. Man, I was never able to behave. It's the biggest problem.
He's like Craig.
That's right.
He's exactly like Craig. He just can't handle how much mania comes out of him.
Just fucking behave. Can't tell you how many people, really important people in media. Hey, Hope, just behave.
I would go a step further. You don't even have to behave that much. Just don't film a coworker shitting when the person hates you and wants to get you fired.
And if you're gonna do this, maybe don't just go stick a fucking camera in someone who's eating a cheeseburger.
Right? Yeah. Behave. He's acting like no one could have known what Opie was doing could get him fired. Like with Anthony, the world was changing. Like there's a time where Anthony could have gone on the rant that he did and faced no penalty.
Right now,
the world was becoming a different place. Yeah, maybe now it could happen. But with Opie, at least not in my lifetime, do I remember an instance where I was like, well, these are the good days where you can film your obese coworker taking a shit and pay no penalty.
Right.
You got a cushy gig. You make a lot of money. Just behave. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
You're such a bad boy, you know?
He's such
Guy's in his 60s. This is where there's a middle ground between Opie and Howard. It's amazing neither of these guys were able to meet in the middle. Where with Howard, it's like, yeah, you should change. You shouldn't be a 70-year-old man making girls ride the Sibian and throwing baloney at their tits. That would be silly.
Right.
But there's a middle ground where you don't have to pretend you like Ellen dancing and that you were always friends with Rosie O'Donnell and that Artie Lang didn't exist. Like there's a middle ground somewhere in there. And the polar opposite of that is Opie being like, he's in his 60s and he's like, I'm just too fucking nuts, man. I'm unleashed even still to this day.
Stephen Perlowski in the chat says, do you want to guess how many acres of land McDonald's owns?
It's like 40. I'm catching up to him.
47,000.
That is a lot of acres.
Yeah. Do you want to know what the royal family owns?
Oh, okay. I worry it's a little more.
It's a lot more, Mike.
Okay.
6 billion acres.
That doesn't even seem real. That doesn't seem like a real number.
John Dutton's ranch, 880,000 acres.
It's not even close.
No.
My guess is, do they put some stat like that up there at the end of the founder?
I don't know. I haven't seen
where
it.
they're like, McDonald's at that time became the biggest landowner in the world or whatever.
I
Like, I
believe it.
imagine that. I'm imagining Opie got his information there and didn't do any more research.
I believe it back then, but someone else in the chat pointed out that they franchise out their restaurants, so each one is like owned by an individual.
Well, but not the land. That's the building. But that was the BJ Novak scene I'm referencing. They show where this guy came to Ray Kroc with the idea of like, now Opie's making me do it. God damn it.
Yeah.
Where McDonald's is basically a real estate company that happens to be in the burger business as well, where like they own the land and charge essentially rent to all these franchise owners.
Ah, got it.
Yeah.
You know who's turning into the next? I'll finish with this because I really got to go. You know who's turning into the next Howard Stern?
Who?
Has the world by the balls. Could pretty much say and do whatever he wants. Has made more money than he'll ever spend. Who am I talking about? The change is becoming very obvious.
Because you won't have him on the show.
Tim
again.
Dillon. Mike Larson, I didn't block you. You came in here, hey, you're spamming with dumb shit. So I
he can't get through his dumb Rogan bit without chastising the commenters.
Your name. Nah, man. I kind of don't really care about the hate in general. It comes with the territory. It's when you.
It seems like it. Seems like it doesn't bother you.
All right. I'm not a fan of the spammy crap. So this guy, free thinker, and he just wants to be accepted.
This is just not
by part of society.
It's not even close to true. Like, you're suggesting the mainstream media is embracing everything Joe Rogan says? What are you, nuts?
He likes to be out on a mountain by himself killing animals.
He picked maybe the worst guy. Now, if you want to say like Rogan got a taste of being embraced by the right and is kind of catered to that a little bit, that's an argument for sure. But the idea that Joe Rogan is doing things so the mainstream likes him is very silly.
I love it.
And it becomes sillier, guys, before you make the argument. Before you say, Rogan does some things. Let me pepper this in. The fact that Opie would not be saying this if Joe Rogan didn't lose his number.
Yeah.
Literally the only reason, like, Rogan used to be the guy that Opie would hype. Oh, you're so crazy, man. What are you having, elk meat? Oh, man, you're always nuts. You and the Death Squad. You guys are nuts. Opie actually named the Death Squad. And so, like, he used to, like, idolize Rogan. Oh, man, you're so sick, all the crazy stuff you do. But now Joe Rogan doesn't have him on his show anymore. So Opie's like, actually, now that I think about it, he's pretty lame, this guy.
He's so dumb. I hate him.
Yeah, he's a loser.
You're doing what he's doing. Yes, Chris. Yes. Sorry. Yes. The answer is Joe Rogan.
Yeah, we got it.
That he's going to church again. A guy that.
Yeah, that'll make everyone accept him.
A lot of people do that in older age.
But here's the thing: is like I've said this for years that I said church is going to make a comeback eventually because everything I think is cyclical and not even real. I'm not saying like by the book religion, but I think there will be like more and more people that look for guidance in some way and realize religion can be used as a roadmap of sorts. You don't have to follow it to the letter of the law and dissect every word in it and try and figure out what they meant 2,000 years ago. But like the idea of religion or spirituality being in your life, like I could see that making a comeback.
Definitely.
But you think Rogan, and I think that's all Rogan is saying, unless I'm misunderstanding. But you think that's something he's doing? So the mainstream is like, oh, he is one of us. That's so silly.
Rogan also doesn't give a shit what anyone else does, really.
Right. Yeah, he's kind of the anti-Howard, where he hasn't let that stuff affect him at all, really.
Right.
Talks about the Anunnaki. Talks about aliens. Talks about how life on Earth isn't what we
Mainstream.
think. Talks
He,
about how-
he never talks about. Well, he's saying he used to talk about that stuff. He never does now.
Oh,
I dare you. I dare you. Find an episode of the Joe Rogan Experience where he mentions aliens. I double dare you.
Listen to the latest drop. I guarantee.
No chance. This guy, Joe Rogan, never talks about aliens anymore. I miss those days.
I know.
And many, many times, all sorts of different civilizations, questions everything. And in recent months, he kissed Trump's ass. You should never kiss the ass of a politician, especially if you want to be called a truth teller.
This guy's crazy.
Oh my God, never question everything, which he used to do. And then he embraced Trump, had him on his show.
No, Rogan, you know Rogan's problem? He believes too much of what the mainstream media is feeding you. Rogan's main problem is that he doesn't question enough things. It's a conspiracy show now. That's all he talks about. He doesn't even interview his guests anymore.
I know I paused this, but I'm assuming he gets into him having Bernie Sanders on and offering to have Kamala on, right? That's the next follow-up.
Well, that's the old Rogan, like 3 years ago. That's the old guy.
And he never really embraced Trump. He embraced Elon, I guess.
At the end, he endorsed, like the day before the election, he actually endorsed him, which I did think that was just a weird move from Rogan, because he seems like the kind of guy that would be like, why does it matter if a fucking celebrity endorses a politician? But yeah, I think he's definitely a Trump guy now, but I don't think he's like a right winger necessarily.
You could probably watch just about any episode and not know exactly which side he's on, because he'll say something that you'll go, oh, he's a right-leaning guy. And then like 20 minutes later, he's like, well, maybe he's actually left.
Well, I'll tell you, but here's the thing: is like there are people that could have this argument. Like if you go to Rogan's Reddit, it's all people that think he's turned his back on his core audience. Like they do think he's changed. The problem with Opie making the argument is he's regurgitating what he's seen other people say about Rogan, and it's not a real belief he has, and it doesn't come from Opie watching the show. It comes from Joe Rogan not texting him back.
Yeah, and I don't think it's true.
Right.
I think he's completely the same.
And now, sorry. And now, because it goes with the movement, everyone's going back to church. Not for the any good reasons. Just because it's the thing to do if you're one of the people that fall.
It's hip
on that side of the political spectrum. I don't even, if it did it for the right reasons, whatever. But I think it's BS.
Whoa, Opie. I know you're unleashed, but Jesus.
That's pretty
BS. That kind of tough talk.
Hidden Hand Media in the chat says Rogan isn't as smart as everyone says he is. I don't think.
I don't
Rogan,
think that's smart, do I?
No. And Rogan does.
I don't think he's as smart as some people say he is. I don't think he's as dumb as other people say he is either.
Correct.
I think he asks questions. I do think the problem with his show is he's gotten way too into his own interests. So now every episode is AI is crazy, huh? Do you believe in alien? Like it's the same 6 topics. He used to actually interview his guests, and if that happened to be a scientist, they would talk about science. If it happened to be a hunter, they would talk about that. But if it was a fucking comedian, he wouldn't force them to get into his several talking points. I don't think he's a genius. Like I don't think I don't think you should solely base your decisions on what Joe Rogan thinks. But I do think he is a smart guy.
I think it's BS. So Rogan quickly going the same way as Mr. Howard Stern.
Just the same guy.
Man.
That's another thing. Like Opie forgets the origin of a lot of this stuff. The man thing. Like they used to do that making fun of him on WAAF. Like when they would listen back to old tapes, that's the vibe that Opie had. Like, man, like he was trying to be cool.
Right.
And Opie forgets that was used to make fun of him. And he's just adopted it as his own mockery, I guess.
I guess so. Or he probably at this point has convinced himself it was a Howard thing.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, so that's what Opie's up to. Look out, New Yorkers. You could be next.
Don't have a cake anywhere near the sidewalk.
Yeah, it's too dangerous.
We got some super chats before we get out of here.
Let's hear them.
Fungi Brian, member for 5 months. Big fan, guys. Been slowly watching more and more and have been binging Why Are You Laughing? Maybe it's just me, but I think Mike has a great radio voice. Wow.
Thank you, buddy. You either think that or you think it's a completely fake voice. Like, there's no middle ground on my voice. And
No.
I get it. I hate having to listen to clips of myself.
Dang Lizard, €2. Is Unleashed the HD re-upload or is it members only?
Oh, interesting. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
James,
I think you should have to pay for something like that. I think if you're getting the HD re-upload, that's worth a little coin. You can't just get that for free.
That's right. James R, $5. Rolled a joint, got some lunch, ready for some MLB today, but I find myself listening to this dummy talk about chips. No one is more cringe than Opie.
You can do both, brother. Put on baseball in the background and listen to the Opster.
James R, $2. Who's worse, Opie or Bill Burr? I mean, come on.
I actually don't know your answer.
Opie.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank God. All right.
Yeah.
By the way, the last guy, the guy that said what a lovely day that sounds like.
Yeah.
I want to enjoy watching baseball. That sounds tremendous.
Just sit on the couch, have the windows open, a nice breeze. You just hear. Sounds like a pretty good day.
I act like I can't do that if I wanted to. But
Cameo Blind Mike, $5. Bummed I'm gonna miss the June live show because of my wife's birthday. I'm sure Craig will book Quincy in August on my anniversary.
Well, there may be some good news there. You might not have to worry about it, but we'll see.
Dang Lizard, €2. Joe Rogan has become the Bill Burr of the right.
Joe Rogan's become the Bill Burr of the right. Yes, that's a closer comparison, at least.
Yeah. And Diana Sklans, $2. Are you covering the Opie docuseries / House of Rebellion?
Oh, I don't know if I know about that. Is that a real thing?
If that's true, then absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know about it, but sure.
And
I'm assuming a YouTube documentary or something. I don't know.
I hope so. I want it. I hope it's produced by Opie too. It'll be like that Gotti movie with Travolta that was produced by John Gotti Jr.
The Kevin Connolly vehicle. Yes.
Yeah, but it was the executive producer was John Gotti Jr. who cast. Yeah. He's like he just cast like this young jacked guy to play himself. He's gonna be like that.
He's good friends with Stuttering John Gotti Jr.
I'm sure.
Yeah. I use that term loosely. I think they had lunch together.
Yeah, they're doing that, and now Stuttering John probably thinks he's in the mob. He's like, he said I was a friend of his. You know what that means?
Yeah. All right, is that it?
That is it.
Let's get the hell out of here, huh? Very Good Show is where you can find Craig.
Yeah.
Verygoodshow.org. And it's a real roller coaster. You never know if they're retiring or making a comeback.
I don't even know.
But boy, is it exciting to watch.
That's right. And
so go check that out. Verygoodshow.org.
Unboxing Eric tonight at 7.
Oh, go check out Casey Day. I'm sure they're doing a show after this, no?
No, not today. ELECTRA.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, go watch Unboxing Eric at 7 tonight or 10 tonight, probably, right?
That's right.
Eastern.
7 Pacific. That's right.
Yeah. Go check it. Support Casey Day, DJ ELECTRA. I would say expect non-AI thumbnails for these videos, but you never know. You never know how Casey's going to play it. Well, again, AI, I don't mind. But use the photos of the people instead of cartoons, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, the whole thing was AI.
Yeah, I don't mind the words being, I'm not against the use of AI, but to an extent.
That's right.
Seem fair?
HACKRIDE says no cartoons.
What a guy.
Yeah, he's going to go back to pictures, he says.
He's malleable. Well, here's the thing, though. Don't look at this as a loss, Casey. Look at it as a test. We'll see if one performs better than the other. We can contrast and compare.
See how many people leave after it goes back to photos.
Exactly.
I can't look at this guy.
That is a bizarre. I hope Casey Day understands this. My personal taste would be photos of the people. I do not understand anyone that's like, unsubscribe. I had to look at something I didn't like for 3 seconds.
Unbelievable.
It is a strange way to live your life, but we appreciate all of you, even those folks. Thank you guys for supporting. BlindMike.net is where all our links are. Become a member if you'd like, or just support the show for free. Like, subscribe, comment. Thank you to all you fine folks out there, and we'll talk to you next time.
And we have a meme transition.
If you don't think that I've been hilarious this morning, I have news. This show is not for you. And we should lovingly part ways.
Hey, it's Boogie. Sappers clear the way. Everyone all the way.
Now, this is very interesting. Now, really, ladies, if you're listening, and men, and everybody in between.
If I tell you you've got a homicide, buddy, you've got a homicide.
I hope to hear from you soon.
I am proud to own the Trumpy bear, and I will always be proud to be an American.
Until then, have yourself a great day, and as always,
there's no cum on my mic.
Rock on.
Stop the baloney, huh? What kind of statement is that?
I wrote it. One of my favorite players to cover when he was here was Mike Vrabel. Tell me Mike Vrabel's story.
Whatever, dude. I keep it cool at the gym.
Piss on it. Fuck you, Mike. Fuck you, Mike. Fuck you, Mike. All right. Stop, my belly hurts.
My dad was in the military.
Was that, sir?
Can you please kindly F off, please?
If a person is on a bridge threatening to jump, how do we know that he wants help?
Okay, I hope nothing's bad happened.
Money, 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 money. Fuck, please.
Anyway, God bless America.